Hello, Oops. Put this down. Okay, let's try that again. Take two. Hello, everybody. It's your mad mother of the internet here to bring you another wonderful old-time radio Saturday. We have 4 detectives for you today. Well, 3 detectives and an international man of mystery. Because you really can't call the Saint a detective. Can you? He's more like a man of mystery. Of course, for those of you that are on Periscope and YouTube that don't follow me on Twitter, The Saint is a very, very special program today because The Saint is voiced by Vincent Price. That's right. He did a lot of radio shows too before he broke into the big scene on the big screen and other places on television as well. But there is a small problem I am suffering today. It is me, just me, and only me in my old-time radio voice chat. So if any of you out there want to hop in and help me heckle these wonderful pieces of history, if you are already in my server and have permissions, well, hop on in. If you are not, let me know, and I can shoot you an invite because I don't have any problems doing that at all. And then, since I am sharing this live in Discord, you guys can actually hear it in real time instead of react to it on a delay. Oh, Panina Chan's getting her waffle. So we have 4 people on YouTube watching this, and we have, let me see, how many people do we have on Periscope watching? We got 1. So, yay! You know what helps when you have audio? Who'd have thunk, right? I guess I'm doing the old, the old-fashioned, it wouldn't be me if it didn't have a glitch or 2 or 3 or 10 or something. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's see if we got our bots working this morning. Yep. And I forgot my water, so this should be an interesting show. Yeah, we're not working this morning, are we? Come on, Cloud Bot. Let me do it this way. Alright. I made it over there. Yay! Alright, cool. Streamlabs is awake this morning. Thank goodness. Okay, so we've got that going. We've got 4 shows. I'm here all by my lonesome. Are you lonely tonight? Candy Manson is a show that started in 1949, March, by the way, by Monty Masters. He actually had a wife named Natalie Parks, who he put in the lead role. A lot of these on-location recordings happened in real places in San Francisco. And for those of you wondering, yes, Candy Matson was an actual female actress back in the 1940s and she was a radio show, a female-led radio show. So, for people out there that are saying we need more female leads, they started out in radio shows. Welcome, the Dark Conservatarian, to my YouTube channel. We don't really talk about much on Saturday. We listen to old-time radio shows and heckle the living crap out of them. So if you like having fun with that kind of thing, or you haven't listened to old-time radio shows, you're about to be introduced to what I think are really cool shows back in the golden age of radio, which was from 1940 to about 1960-something. So yeah, and all these are public domain because they came out before February 15th, 1976. So, let me flip over here to my coffee and chill, because we had to coffee and cheer. And I will pop this open, and we are going to listen to Candy Matson episode, The Donna Dunham Case.
Hello, Candy Matson.
I understand you've been hired to find out who knocked off Donna Dunham.
Abrupt and right to the point. That's my business, old man who talks like a ghost.
Take care of your health, little lady. Donna Dunham is dead. Better stay like that.
You take care of your Q's and I'll shell my P's, understood?
Not quite. Listen to this.
Oh, goody, goody. Bullets now delivered by phone. Thanks for the slug. I'll have it identified later.
Maybe you'll be identified later. Remember what I said, Candy Matson. Forget about Donna Dunham.
Dun dun dun. Thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub, Dark Conservatarian.
My name is Candy Matson. I like money. Lots of it. That's why I became a private eye. And, too, you meet such interesting people. Mostly dead. But getting back to the cash angle, that's why I took on the Donna Dunham case. I knew it was full of dynamite. But a girl has to eat now and then, maintain a penthouse on Telegraph Hill, and keep the moths out of a few mink coats. Doesn't she? Sure. And a shot fired into your room from across the street at 3 a.m. is just one of those occupational hazards. So
Occupational hazard, okay.
And the 500, and went to work. Like to hear how the whole thing started?
Why not?
Leave us proceed to Act 1.
And there we have organ music. Not my friend Mitch's favorite, but there you go.
I'd had a hard day at the office.
Yeah, don't say.
Sleeping all day. And I needed a bit of a tonic to pick me up. So the natural thing to do was to ground loop into the marigold
all
room
day,
and
oh,
see
yeah,
what
that
could be
stuff.
done. As I sank down onto one of the padded stools, the dispenser approached. Make it a martini, my good man, very dry. So dry it comes out like a blotter.
Look, lady, nothing would give me more pleasure, but I can't serve you here unless you have an escort.
What? Oh, I'm waiting for someone.
That's what they all say.
But he'll be here very soon.
I know. It never fails.
Why,
That's
you
what they all
low-minded cronk. For 2 cents, I'd knock
I
your...
arrived just in time. Save your 2 cents, my dear.
Huh?
You heard what the lady said? A martini. Make it 2.
Make it 2.
Yeah. Sure. I thought it was just another one of those, 2 martinis.
Are you suggesting
Well,
the female
paid-
detective
paid
of Telegraph
worse than
Hill
death.
is a slut?
Matson.
Ooh.
Who are you?
A natural question.
And I'd like a natural answer.
Roberts is my name. Warren Roberts.
Oh.
I own a few steamships hither and yon about the
Bond,
world.
James Bond.
Oh, yes, I know. I took a trip on one of your scows once. The food was a nightmare's nightmare.
How do you think I came to be a millionaire?
Aha, I see your point.
Aha, I see your point.
How did you know my name and what do you want?
I have a business proposition to make to you, Miss Matson.
You're sure it's business, Mr. Roberts?
Strictly business, Miss Matson.
Call me Candy. You tell me the details and I'll tell you what it'll cost you.
Fair enough.
But don't faint. You can always make it back on your food.
Well, I can hardly tell you here. Suppose we drop over to my place.
But I want that martini.
My man will make us a batch over there.
The things I do to make a living.
Nightcap.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, how about these drinks?
Here you are, my man, and save the martinis for some poor wayward soul who hasn't the wherewithal to make the purchase.
Free drinks, okay.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Roberts. I didn't know you were expecting company so soon after...
Take Miss Matson's things, Montgomery, and bring us some martinis.
They're all made, sir.
Good. Let's go into the drawing room, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Modest little mousetrap, isn't it? And I'll bet it's had a good path beaten to its door, too.
Quite a sense of humor you have, Candy.
Well, it helps now and then.
Here.
Was
sit down
Miss
here.
Matson hinting that perhaps
That's
he's
it.
had more than one woman in his
I,
abode? Ooh.
I can't quite see you. It's like being behind a retaining wall. Oh, well, I'll just listen. What's the topic of conversation?
A young lady named Donna Dunham.
Uh-huh, the female element. What is your connection?
Much strictly that of a patron.
Oh,
Miss Dunham was a hat-check girl over at the Scarlet Dawn. I heard her sing one night.
Ooh.
I
She
decided
sung?
right then and there that I was going to sponsor her career.
Wow.
was?
Yes. Donna Dunham was murdered early this morning.
By you?
What? Are you out of your head?
Yes, when I think of the fee I'm going to get from you.
I beg your pardon, sir. The martinis.
What? Oh, yes. Put them down there, Montgomery.
I beg your pardon, sir. The martinis.
Very good,
So you're
Montgomery.
about
I
to be
won't need
pleased?
anything else tonight.
Thank you, sir. Good night, miss.
Good night. Don't sleep too tight.
May I?
You certainly may. I've been waiting far too long for one of these.
There you are.
Well, as a sponsor, you didn't pick a protege with great lasting qualities, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, she didn't.
She was so young, so very lovely. Will you take the case, Miss Matson?
What do I have to go on?
Oh, very little. Well, my suspicions point to a musician who worked at the Scarlet Dawn. He seemed to resent very strongly my stepping into the picture,
Were they going to get it?
off and on, until I started to back down his career.
A very interesting triangle.
A
What
very
do the
interesting
police have to
triangle.
say?
The police, Miss Matson, have not yet been notified.
What?
Not
I went over
surprising.
there this morning, and I discovered the body lying on the floor. I became confused. I locked the door and called the Scarlet Dawn. I told the manager that Miss Dunham was quite ill and wouldn't be able to appear tonight.
Extremely ill, I'd say. Well, this is fine. You realize you're in trouble, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And that if I take this case, I'm sticking my neck out, too?
Exactly.
My fee is $500.
That's a fair price.
In advance.
Well, I'll make out a check immediately. Oh. Won't you have another martini?
I don't think so.
You know, you are very beautiful.
Thank you.
Flirt.
But I already have a sponsor.
And your lips
Masher.
are very, very kissable.
The best you can buy from Max Factors.
Are you sure you don't want another martini?
Look, Roberts, let's get this straight. You're in the middle of a jackpot. Make that check out right now so I can join you. Then it's up to me to spring the both of us. In the meantime, get that glint out of your eye. The one that's wired for wolf calls. Understood?
Very well.
I'll get started right away. Where does the
One that's
late
wired
Miss
for
Dunham
wolf
live?
calls.
Just on the edge
Love
of
it.
Chinatown.
Gotta remember that
27B
line.
Gresham Alley. It's the only three-flat house on the block.
I'll find it. And you just stick right here and don't poke your face out of the door. Now, the check, if you will. Now listen, you, if you think you're going to get... Well, send me back to the last line in the chorus, if it isn't old Hawkshaw himself.
Yeah, that's right. Hiya, Candy.
Now, how you ever got to be a police detective, I'll never know. I heard you trailing me for the last 2 blocks.
Maybe I wanted you to hear me. What are you doing over in Chinatown, Candy?
I like tomato chow yuck.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Something up?
Not with you around, there isn't.
Look, Candy, just a little word of caution. We're laying for you.
Oh,
The chief isn't very happy about you busting up that Newton case last month.
somebody had to. The score was still tied in the 27th inning.
Stop gagging, Candy. What are you doing around here? You don't like tomato chow yuck that much.
Well, maybe that Oriental music sends me. By the way, where's the Scarlet Dawn, Mallard?
Huh? Right down there on the corner.
Come on. I'll buy you a double Mickey.
No, thanks. I just had one.
Morning, Richo.
Listen, Candy, take a tip. Don't interfere with the work of the police.
Don't worry about me, Mallard.
If I had a
And you
nickel.
take a tip, too. Next time you trail somebody, get yourself a pair of tennis shoes.
You should know that as a cop. Can't trail somebody with noisy shoes. Shh.
Yes, miss. You like a table?
No, thanks. No.
Something I can do?
Hmm? Oh, yes, I'm a friend of Donna Dunham's. She wanted me to come over and tell you that she's feeling better. She'll be back at work tomorrow night.
Well, that's good. Business at the hot chick stand no good without her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, she's
That's
a
not a
good
stereotypical Asian accent.
By the way, I
That was
don't
over the
see
top
your
of
boyfriend
most, but
tonight.
still.
Boyfriend?
You know,
Boyfriend?
the fellow who plays in the band.
You have a
Oh,
boyfriend?
Donnie Andrini. No, he got night off.
Oh, too bad.
Oh,
You wanted
he
me to
got
tell
night
him,
off.
too.
Yep, too bad.
You want
maybe
to
you'll
go?
find him at the Lotus Hotel. He lived there.
Oh, sure. The Lotus. Yes, I'll check there, and thank you very much.
You should have said get you a pair of sneakers. Morning, Jeff. Over there on Periscope, I believe this is the
Rembrandt
first time I've
Watson
seen
speaking.
Yes, I
Hello,
know.
Sora Luna.
Hello.
How
Photographs
you
taken at
doing?
reasonable prices.
I know, Rembrandt.
Family groups and portraits especially. Also,
Rembrandt, this is I, Candy
fine
Matson.
colored pictures. What? Candy Matson?
That's right.
By all the furies of Zeus. Why did you have to call just now? I was wooing the muse that only Bacchus can create, probing the infinitesimal heights a soul can reach from the tear of the grape. And you have to call and spoil it all.
Look, Rembrandt, uncross your eyes and listen to me.
I shall listen, my Lily, but undoubtedly I won't like it. What skullduggery are you up to now?
I'm knee-deep in something that smells as high as the Oakland mud flats.
A towering comparison. What is it?
I can't tell you now, but I want you to do me a favor. Get your finest camera and go over to 27B Gresham Alley. Get inside and take all the pictures you can of the place.
Won't I be intruding?
No. There's a very attractive young lady there.
How delightful.
She's dead.
How dull. I dislike intensely
How
one-sided
dull.
conversation.
Oh, I said.
All
said-
right. What do
Oh,
I do
it's a
then?
dead body. No
Okay,
biggie.
Get me some prints as fast as you can.
I go, but not willingly. Only for you would I forsake the mood I have achieved through prodigious application.
Bully for you, laddie buck. I'll see you at your place in about an hour.
Cue dramatic organ music.
Pardon me. Are you the night clerk?
I ain't sitting bull. Yes, we have no rooms.
I'm not here for a room.
Oh? Well, maybe there's something I can do for you.
4 a.m. Oh, that's right, Richo. You're over there in
Did
Australia.
you tell me
Yes,
if
I
Mr.
said tart.
Danny Andrews-
No, he isn't. Matter of fact, I haven't seen him all day.
Yes, I know. There's a reason. We had to take him to the hospital this morning.
What?
Yes. He's under observation for appendicitis.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So, I was wondering if you'd let me have his key.
Huh?
He wants me to bring him his portable radio.
Oh, does he have
Right
one?
through her teeth.
Very.
Yep,
Did you
Maniac
ever
Man
know
every
musicians
Saturday
didn't
morning,
have a
hon.
portable radio?
I know.
If you
come to
want, I
think
can
of it,
just send you an invitation into the
here's
Discord,
key.
and you can
It's,
hop in and help
room
me heckle.
418.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. That wasn't flirtatious one bit.
All right, Candy Matson, start making like a private eye. Letters. Yes, over here. Promising. A whole pile of. Well, let's try this one. Dear Danny, I don't know how to start this, but your accusations last night need some sort of answering. I'm not in love with Warren Roberts and never will be. He's just proving to be a very kind and gracious friend. You must realize that I have placed my singing career above everything else, and I want to...
And she's in trouble.
Well, leave us confront the issue, Candy.
Candy, I will do that if I were you.
Oh. Hello, you.
Hello. I was wondering if I could be of any assistance.
Oh, no, it seems Mr. Andrini was out of his head.
Oh.
I mean, he doesn't seem to have a portable radio.
Oh.
I'll just be on my way.
Oh, now what's the rush? You don't have to leave right away. Wouldn't you like a drink or something?
No, not right now. I am pressed for time.
Oh.
I tell you what, though.
Huh.
I'll be back later. How's that?
Sure. Fine.
Whispering. Why are we whispering?
Make it next Whitsuntide, huh? Goodbye.
Hide under the bed.
On my soul, I'd like to have the popcorn concession here tonight. Come in, come in.
Rembrandt, you're a double-crosser.
A double-crosser? My
Yes.
dear, you're mistaken.
Oh?
The only time I double-crossed was out in the country. I passed over a bridge, then I had to double-cross back.
Oh, no.
I found I'd left my knapsack with some rare vintage in it on the other side.
What are you doing here? You haven't had
Can
time
do
to get the
Discord
pictures
listen
I
at the same
wanted.
time.
That's just
My
the
wireless
point.
mouse is
To elucidate,
dead on
I
my
arrived
desktop
at
right
27B
Oh, okay.
Gresham Alley and found it to be a most loathsome location.
That's beside the point. What happened?
I couldn't get in.
Oh, Rembrandt, I've done you a grave injustice. Of course you couldn't get in. Warren Roberts has the key.
Who's this minion, Robert?
I'll tell you later. We've got to work fast. Mallard sniffed something in the wrong key, and the police will be in on the deal before long.
Mallard, the gumshoe?
That's right. I've just got to get pictures of the layout so I can study them.
In my own fumbling fashion, Candy, my love, I have given birth to an idea.
Even from you, Rembrandt, I'll take it. I'm grabbing at straws.
Straws. Very effective with tall, cool pollen.
Never mind now. What's your idea?
Let us hie ourselves to a locksmith. Present ourselves as man and wife, and the peasant will make us a key. Voila! Entree to the
And
Meadories
the peasant will
apartment.
make us a key.
No,
I think
Rembrandt,
we need to
that'll
bring
never
back
work.
radio dramas. There's magic to just
Oh,
listening with the ability to
3
visualize. Yeah, there it is. That's why I like old
I
time
used
radio
to live in
shows.
just that kind of a house out on Fulton Street when I was a kid.
A nauseating thought.
Rembrandt.
Me and a few of my friends
Those
kept toying around with the
flats are
idea of
identical.
writing scripts
If we
and
can get into
starting
the
our
flat
own
above-
radio show channel.
We can get what we want.
I think I fathom your reasoning, Candy.
Hands and become
In
a-
other
what?
words,
Hey,
the
there's
living
nothing
room
wrong
is
with
just
being a
the
comedian. Oh my
same.
God, I can hear
The
my cat
dining room,
snoring.
likewise.
Anita.
Heck,
And the same goes for the bedroom, the kitchen, and even the,
that's right, even in there.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go slumming in Gresham Alley.
Let's go slumming in Gresham Alley.
Go ahead, Rembrandt. Ring the bell.
Always I must do the labor.
Oh, pooh.
Well, I hope we don't disturb the dead in the middle flat.
You won't. From what I hear, she was done in sort of permanently.
Appears there's no one at home. Come on, Candy. Let's return and see what Bacchus has to offer.
Oh, wait. I thought I heard something. There, you see? Got all your flash bulbs?
As they say in the old country, have I lost my marbles? Open the door. Beauty before age, my dear.
Thank you, Rembrandt. Kind of dark.
A peculiar aroma. Definitely smacks of the far east.
Yes.
Something you folks wanted?
Chalk up, Candy. It's your cue.
Why, yes, may we come up?
What do you want?
Well, we're with a magazine. The House Lovely.
The house.
We want to
Yeah,
take
that's
a
real
few
convincing.
photographs
The
of your
house.
place.
Lovely.
This hour?
The working press is never shackled by the hands on a clock, sir.
Sounds phony to me, but come on up. What do you want to take pictures of this beat-up joint for?
Well, you see, it's comparison. The old and the new. We've already taken pictures of a flat similar to this, only it's been remodeled. This is perfect for the contrast.
I guess it's all right.
Dramas, there's a
Go
lot less
ahead.
editing to do,
start
live or
with
recorded.
the
I think
hall,
audio
then,
editing would
Lodge
be
in my
less intensive.
prediction.
Yeah, it would be.
See, this should be
Especially
just
with the
about
prevalence
right.
of soundboards these days. Yes, Maniac Man, you
Now,
are
the,
correct.
the
It
bedroom.
probably would be a lot
That
less
should be
on
off
the
the hall
editing than
here.
video stuff.
Oh, yes. Shoot from the door, Rembrandt. Can you get the entire room?
Not quite, but most of it.
That'll do.
Just a moment. Ah. There we are.
You cats work fast.
What was that?
I said you work fast.
Yes. Now, in the bathroom, do you have a tub or a shower?
Why don't you see for yourself?
No. On second thought, I think that's about all we need.
Candy, you said that we
Come
could...
along, Rembrandt. And thank you very much.
That's
Mr.
okay. And don't slam the door. The lady downstairs is sound asleep.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll
Are
work?
you referring to this case or my
Bye.
desire to return to the arms of Bacchus?
That I could never let go. I'm talking about the case. But I need help, Rembrandt.
I am here.
No, that's not enough. I need the big, strong arm of the law.
Oh.
Ooh, the big, strong arm of the law.
I hate to admit it, but I need somebody like Mallard.
Am I being paid?
Oh, no. It's the wicked genie.
Yoicks, it's the gumshoe.
Yeah, in person.
Mallard, how did you get here?
I took your advice and bought some tennis shoes. All right, Spill, what goes on? Been following you around till I'm punchy. Start talking, Candy.
Okay, so you heard me. I do need your help, Mallard. Badly. There was a young girl murdered yesterday at 27B Gresham Alley.
Is that the place you just came from?
That's right.
Why don't we ever hear of these things?
Oh, I get exclusive rights. Anyway, I think I have the whole deal figured out. You can have full credit, Mallard, but you've got to take my advice.
It hurts, but go ahead.
Now go back to 27C Gresham Alley. That's the top flat. You'll find a character there named Danny Andrini. Take him. Then get out to 5711 Pacific Street as fast as you can.
You do with those long arms.
All right, I'll do it.
Considering
But
Candy, who
so
knows?
help me, if this is a foul-up, on you the new look with stripes is going to be very fashionable.
She knows what she's doing, Mallard. When you get back to Gresham Alley, just tell Mr. Andrini that you're from House Lovely. He'll adore you.
This is it, Rembrandt. I just hope my man Montgomery hasn't retired as yet.
What are we doing out here on Pacific, Candy? This is out of our league.
All of a sudden, I've become socially conscious. Come on, Montgomery, enter the door. Ah, right on cue.
I beg your pardon. Did you ring?
No, Montgomery. We crossed the moat and used a battering ram.
I'm sorry, young lady. Mr. Roberts doesn't wish to be disturbed.
Look, Montgomery, remember me? I was here earlier this evening. Mr. Roberts and I had a martini together.
Martinis. Well, it was worth a safari out here after all.
Oh, I'm sorry, miss. I didn't recognize you at first. Yes, do come in, won't you?
The light dawned.
If you'll just wait in the drawing room, miss, I'll inform Mr. Roberts of your presence.
Thank you very much, Montgomery.
I used to know a chap like that in the British Army. By continual groveling and studied abjectedness, he worked his way up to the rank of a private.
Thanks, Rembrandt. That's the first laugh I've had tonight.
What's the pitch, Candy? I don't get it.
You will in a minute. You hear the patter of little...
You will in a minute.
Miss Matson, what's the idea? I thought you were going to check with me by phone.
Mr. Roberts, this thing is bigger than either of us. I just couldn't wait.
She just couldn't
Is there a
wait.
martini in the house?
I'll have Montgomery serve in just a moment.
I don't think there'll be time, Mr. Roberts. Well, where is she?
Upstairs.
You really loved her, didn't you?
Madly.
That just about describes it. Madly. And while you were, shall we say, sponsoring her career, you thought she was playing around with Danny Andrini as well.
Yes, she was.
You're wrong, Robert. I have a letter from Donna Dunham to Danny Andrini. In effect, she told him to blow, skedaddle, vamoose.
What?
That's right. So it seems we have a slight case of mistaken murder on our hands, doesn't it?
Oopsie. I accidentally killed somebody. Whoopsie.
On one hand. On the other, I have two in mind that will be delivered. You asked for it, Miss Matson. Too bad you had to bring your friend along.
I wouldn't if I were you, Robert.
A blighter has a pistol. I thought you said he served martinis.
This isn't exactly a social moment. I know how you private eyes work. You're lone wolves. You confide in no one. So with a pull of the finger, I erase all evidence. Just like this.
He's dead. Oh, I'm really grateful to you, but where on earth did you come from?
Like I say, Candy, you just can't beat these tennis shoes.
Well, that clears everything up except for one thing. Where do we go now for the martinis?
Worried about the booze.
And that's how it happened. My phone rings, and I'm into the darndest messes you ever heard of. Sure, Roberts killed her. He was jealous. And I knew I was on the right track when Rembrandt said the apartment above Donna Dunham's smelled like the Far East. It was tobacco odor, the same Turkish aroma I had smelled in Robert's home out on Pacific Street. Danny entering? Well, he was waiting for Roberts to return. He was going to kill him. He knew that Roberts had rented the flat above Dunham for sponsoring purposes. Donna was a nice kid. She was just caught in the middle. Black.
Yep. Okay. And that's Candy Matson. So the next one up is Sam Spade. For those of you that don't know, this surly, smart-ass detective. Let me see here. Sam Spade radio show. Quick little recap. Here we go. Let me see. He say, The Adventures of Sam Spade Detective was a radio series based loosely on the private detective character Sam Spade created by Dashiell Hammett for the Maltese Falcon. The show ran for 13 episodes on ABC in 1946, for 157 episodes on CBS in 1946 to 1949, and finally for 51 episodes on NBC in 1949 to 1951. The series starred Howard Huff, later Steve Dunn, as Sam Spade, and Lorene Tuttle as his secretary Effie, and took on a considerably more tongue-in-cheek approach to the character than the novel or the movie. The announcer was Dick Joy. Dick Joy. Dick Joy. What an unfortunate name. Boy. Oh, okay, just got a fall. Okay. Now for a little more background, we've got, let me see here. The series was largely overseen by producer William Spire. In 1947, scriptwriters Jason James and Bob Tallman received an Edgar Award for Best Radio Drama from the Mystery Writers of America. Before the series, Sam Spade had been played in radio adaptations of The Maltese Falcon by both Edward G. Robinson in a 1943 Lux Radio Theater production and by Humphrey Bogart in a 1941 Academy Award Theater production, both on CBS. Dashiell Hammett's name was removed from the series in the late 1940s because he was being investigated for involvement with the Communist Party. Later, when Howard Duff's name appeared in the Red Channels book, he was not invited to play the role when the series made the switch to NBC in 1950. Let me see. Feels like the radio should be to the left of the chat with your name right under it. Oh! Let me see if I can... Well, I can always make the chat a little skinnier. Let's see here. Alright, let me see. As Barmera Boy... I'm so upset. Alright, let's move that over. Let's move the radio up a bit. Okay. And we're going to do this. Ooh, on-screen editing. If it was my radio show, you could call it fake news. Oopsie. Kismet. Okay. Let me see here. Coffee room chat box. We'll scoop the donations over here. All right, how's that? Let's see if it looks a little bit better. And SGTP. Shh, he's in control here. Oh, yeah, Richo's on the minion sometimes. Yep. Okay. I finished breakfast. Time for me to restore the computer. Talk to you later. Oh, she's restoring the computer. More meant just moving the radio to the empty space next to chat. You didn't need to make the chat smaller. Oh, okay. Ta-da-da. Okay, let's see here. Dink. All right, let's see if that helps a little. I like to be accommodating. We're getting ready to start the next one in a sec. In a sec. Okay, I look more centered underneath the radio this way. This is your show after all, so I was just voicing an opinion. Yeah, I mean, well, I like to make it aesthetically pleasing for everybody and not just me, because what's aesthetically pleasing for some gives others, eye-twitching headaches. Like every time I see something lettered crooked. Woo, talk about eye twitch. Okay, here we go. The Adventures of Sam Spade. Episode, The Calcutta Trunk Caper.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Ahoy! It's me. Just came ashore.
From what? A boat?
A ship, Effie, a ship. Anything over 400 gross tons is a ship. Anybody knows that.
May I inquire what was your port of call?
Calcutta.
My, that was a quick trip.
Well, Effie, I'll tell you, I got so homesick for you I couldn't stand it, so I assembled my gear and jumped ship.
Why, Sam, how sweet.
A faster, gal. I'll be right down to dictate my report.
You are alive.
Bon voyage, Effie.
I've been worried sick. Where have you been?
On my way to Calcutta, sweetheart, where the dawn comes up like thunder.
With a dawn.
What are you talking about?
So every time the sun rises,
and
you
the
hear
flying
thunder in the
fishes
distance?
play.
That's
Ready,
a noisy
Effie?
Sam, why
sunrise.
did you want to go to Calcutta, of all places?
I didn't, Effie. I hate Calcutta. I was Shanghai. To,
Shanghai.
Mr. Philip J. Fogg, purser, SS Lurine.
How do you spell that, Sam?
Lurene.
Oh, that's pretty. Sam, how could you be shanghaied in this day and age? I mean, isn't it against the law?
Stow it, Effie. You're pumping bilge water.
Sam, I am not.
From Samuel Spade, license number
get
137596, when you have the time, regarding the Calcutta trunk caper. Dear Mr. Fogg, the following report will explain the enclosed voucher, which is a claim against your company for the amount of $500 and no cents. It will also answer any questions you might be asked concerning the recent unpleasantness on board your ship. It all started yesterday morning in San Francisco when my secretary announced briefly and caustically that there was a lady outside who wanted to talk to me. I judged that she was worth talking to. She was.
Spade, your secretary let me in.
Well, I'm glad she did. What can I do for you?
I'm Marcia Hopkins.
I see.
Mrs. Marcia Hopkins.
I see.
However, my husband is dead.
I see.
It's about my sister that I've come
see.
to you, Mr. Spade. I'm dreadfully worried about her.
Who's your sister?
I
Constance
see. Oh,
Anderson.
sorry.
And she's become involved with a ne'er-do-well. A completely worthless
A ne'er-do-well.
and a real foreign bluebeard.
All
Wow,
three?
people still
It's
use
one
that
man,
word?
Mr. Spade. A Bulgarian, Major
Whatever they
Andrea
did back
Rodnick.
then.
They're going to be married this afternoon, and I'm positive that his only interest is in her money. I'm convinced that he's going to kill her soon after the ceremony. He's done it to other wives in Europe. I've warned Constance and pleaded with her, done everything I could to stop it. But she's completely infatuated with him and refuses to listen to me.
Mm-hmm. What do you want me to do?
Prevent the marriage if you can. Get the truth about Rodnick's background and face Constance with it. Oh, Mr. Spade, in some way, you've got to make her realize the seriousness of the situation. He's a ruthless character.
Well, do what I can, Mrs. Hopkins.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Spade.
You've got to make him understand this. You've got to make him know that he's a son of a bitch.
I felt so alone and helpless.
I'm so alone.
Until now.
Oh, well.
I need
But you
help.
will do everything you can, won't you? We've got to save her life.
She daubed at her eyes with a stamp-sized handkerchief, patted the red gold hair of the temples nervously, smiled at me bravely, and swayed out.
And swayed out.
By
You
telephone,
gotta
I
have
learned
that
that the
pulse swing.
Brodnick-Pendleton
You
marriage
sway out
license
the
had been
room.
issued 4 days before, and
That
that on the
booty got
same
that
day,
pulse
Constance
swing.
Pendleton had withdrawn a savings account to the tune of $45,000. I'd always wanted to, so I did it. I called at the Bulgarian consulate.
What can I do on you?
What do you know about
What can I do on you?
Brodnick?
Hey?
Andrei Vrodnik. On him we have hate, great sadness, with shame for
Oh
the
yeah, this
crowd
isn't
that
a
walked under him.
stereotypical accent at all.
Andrei Vrodnik.
Why is he so popular?
I'm going
On
to
the
spit.
devil he is driven without horns. 6 women he has killed. 6 times he has insulted the police of Europe by refusing to confess. We have proof of the murders, but never can we prove the proof.
Never can we
him.
prove that we can't do accents
sometimes
worth the
it
shit
goes
because
that way.
damn it, we tried.
Never do we find the bodies of the 6 women. Only their money in the name of Andrea Vrodnik. My pardon.
Well, think
And we
nothing
spit.
of it. You're just
Because
upset.
when you punctuate,
on
you
you.
spit.
You're interested on him. Why? You go to Europe?
You're
No,
interested on him.
Brodnick
No, he's
comes
interested
here.
in him, not on
Here.
him.
Here on San Francisco. He marries again.
So I'm told.
Oh, by all the means you must prevent it.
By all
God
the
to him,
means.
brave man. You do the world a service. Make violence on him. Even do you hang for it. Your name will live.
So even if we hang you for killing the dude that we
With
don't
those
like,
valiant
your
words
name will
goading me
live
on,
on.
I left. The farther I got into the caper, the more it looked as if Marcia's fears for Constance Pendleton were very real and very well-founded. When Constance opened the door of her hotel suite, I could see 3 trunks and a number of smaller pieces of luggage, all locked and ready to be taken out.
Yes?
You're Constance Pendleton?
Yes?
I'm a detective. My name is Spade.
Detective. What do you
Spade,
want?
Sam
I
Spade.
want to talk to you about that Bluebeard you're going to marry.
Get out of here.
You listen, I'll talk, and then I'll get out of here. I just left the Bulgarian consulate. Vrodnik has been accused of the murders of 6 women in Europe. Each of them were wealthy. Each of them married him, and each time Vrodnik came into all their money.
Are you trying to blackmail me because of the lies about my fiancé's past?
No,
If you are,
he's
you're
trying to
wasting
tell
your
you that
time.
your
Well, no
ass is
matter
about
what
to
I'm
get
doing, I'm
killed as
wasting
soon
my
as
time,
you
but to
say
put
I
you
do,
straight,
because boy
your sister
is
hired me,
like
and
a
I am
reverse
now
Black
resigning.
Widow.
She's worried about you, not me.
Then you should
Con
spend more
artist,
time
a
investigating
sham, a
your
serial
clients,
killer.
Mr. Spade.
A greedy motherfucker.
You
Oh.
could have saved both of us some time. I have no sister. This is my wedding day. Goodbye, Mr. Spade.
Have no sister. This is my wedding day. Goodbye, Mr. Spade. I shall never see you again, for this guy's gonna kill my ass. I'm not on you.
As I left the room, I maintained the stern facial expression I reserved for moments of great shock. But once outside the door, I allowed myself to be carried on the wave of rage and embarrassment for just a minute, and I kicked over 2 potted palms.
Kicking over Paul
As
Paul
I
makes you feel
limped
so
down
much
the
better.
corridor, I was overtaken by none other than Marcia Hopkins.
Did you see her?
Did you see
Let's
her?
talk about you first.
Did you stop the marriage?
Did you
Why
stop
did you
the
really
marriage?
want that marriage stopped?
But I told you.
You told me you were her sister.
Oh,
She said she didn't have any sister.
all right, Sam. I did lie to you about that. But I'll tell you who I really am.
I don't want to know who you are. I don't ever want to know. All I want from you is my honestly earned fee and a brief but permanent goodbye.
Oh, no, Sam, please. Listen.
Give me the money and let me
We've got
go.
to save that girl. I have $500. That's all I have. Would it be enough?
What's your real name?
Marshal Brodnick. Yes, he's my husband. I've been married to him for 10 years. We've traveled all over Europe, and I never knew where the money was coming from. He left me at times for 2 weeks or a month, and then when he'd come back, there'd be more money. I just realized that that's when he must have been killing those poor women. And I know that's what he's going to do this time. I just can't stand it. You've got to protect her.
That should be easy. We'll let him get married and meet him at the door with a bigamy warrant.
Then you will see me through this.
I might.
Oh,
I might.
in my bag, there's $500.
Depends on what mood I'm in. Right now,
If
I
you
don't
can't
know
stop
what
the
mood I'm
marriage,
in.
then don't let him out of your sight.
Kiss me,
Not
Sam.
even for a
Right?
minute.
It's like, kiss
He's a
me,
beast,
Sam.
A beast.
Marcia dropped me in front of the Beasts Hotel, and I climbed some fake marble steps to the second floor and knocked at his door. The man who opened it was heavy, handsome in a swarthy, coarse sort of a way, and glowing conceit through two eyes. One monocled, one not.
You are facing Major Andrei Vrodnik, 1st Bulgarian Horse. What want you?
You were facing Saul Fox of the law firm of Fox, Smedley, Van Dusen, and Grip.
You overwhelmed
Fox,
us.
Smedley,
I came here to
Van
warn you. If you
Dusen,
go through with the
and
marriage
Grip.
to Constance Pendleton, you're going to
Because you
find
have to
yourself
have a
tangled
grip
with civil
on your
law.
Van Dusen so
War.
you can Smedley
Andrei
everything else.
Vrodnik, who has personally led
Okay,
more
that
saber
wasn't all
charges
right. But I
than you
tried.
have teeth in your skull.
Yes.
Who has personally split,
Has
slashed, and
personally
impaled
split.
on his own blade more men than you have fingers and toes. You warn me? What is this talk?
You're going
You
to have
need
a
the
bigamy
accent to
charge
be a
slapped
little
on you 5
worse.
minutes
Try
after you slip
again.
her of the ring. The warrant signed by Mrs. Marcia Vrodnik.
Bigamy. I laugh. This is not bigamy.
Marcia's your wife, isn't she?
That bigamy was committed when I married her. I had another wife then. You call yourself a lawyer, then you know that only the second marriage is bigamy. The ones following that are nothing but interludes.
Okay, Major, go ahead and have your interlude. I'm just warning you.
Oh, speaks. We are being married on Redwood City from a justice of the peace 1 hour previous. Then we are sailing through the SS Lurine at midnight with our honeymoon. Already
The
a Russia
honeymoon.
waits for the baggage and log.
Because
Hold
everybody
on
calls
before
it a
I'm losing my
honeymoon.
temper. If you're ever in Calcutta, look me up. Da.
He's a honeymoon.
I could see the direct approach was getting me nowhere, so I decided to proceed by stealth. I
It's
waited
not a
outside the
honeymoon,
building,
it's a
and when he left, I
honeymoon.
tailed him. He made 4 stops. At a second-hand
Be a
store,
new
a
thing.
hardware
It's a
store, a
honeymoon.
surgical supply house, and an undertaker supply house.
It's a new thing.
At these places, he purchased the following items. An oversized steamer trunk, black with brass fittings,
'Cause that's
a
not
large
the least
ball
bit
of rope
suspicious.
twine,
That's not
2
suspicious
large
either.
lead sash weights,
Oh, that's
a
normal.
set of surgical instruments,
Totally
and
normal.
at the 4th and final stop, the undertaking supply, he bought 2 items. A 20-foot length of rubber tubing and a pump.
Totally normal. That's
He
a
returned
kinky,
to the
that's a
second-hand
kinky
store with his
honeymoon
other
right there.
purchases, put them inside the trunk,
That's a
and ordered it
kinky
sent up to
honeymoon right
Constance's
there.
hotel
Yeah.
immediately, and thereupon it took himself to the
Mediation
same
to the
place.
extreme.
Marcia was waiting in the empty lobby when he went in. I crouched behind a pillar, turned up my hearing aid, and listened.
Did you get the...
Yeah. Now listen, my darling, we must work fast. As soon as the trunk arrives, before she has a chance to get to the telephone.
Yes, Andre, but please, no cutting in the apartment.
No cutting in the apartment.
Now, you know what?
Ew.
While I'm getting her into the trunk, you'll change her
She's in
clothes, put on her
cahoots.
traveling dress, the hat with the red...
I just, yeah, the more racist, the funnier. Ha ha ha.
Come, we must
Welcome.
make haste.
Okay, is it Broad or Braid? Because I want to be able to say it right. Is
They
it
made
Broad
haste
or
to the
Braid?
elevators, and I made haste to the row of house telephone booths
You
around
made
the
haste.
corner and
It's
called
going slow,
Constance's
in other
room.
words.
Hello?
Hello?
Mrs. Rodnick,
Yes?
listen, get out of that room right away. Don't take the elevator, go down the stairs.
They're going to carry you.
What are you talking about?
I haven't got time to
bitch.
explain, and you haven't got
Leave.
time to listen. All those stories about your husband are true. He's going...
Hello? Hello? Are you still on the line?
My
Obviously
hand clawed
not.
out to the
Hello?
door handle, but I couldn't reach it. I felt as if the walls were closing in around me, and just before it got dark, I had the crazy notion that I was inside Brodnick's big black trunk with the brass fittings. I could still hear Constance's voice way off in the distance, somewhere in the direction of Calcutta. I tried to shout to her, to warn her, and then the lid closed over me.
Broad, okay.
I shook my head, trying to get the bells out of it. Then I remembered where I was and what had happened. I was still wedged
Why
at
you
the
were still
bottom
hearing
of the
bells,
phone booth
'cause
where I'd
it's the
slept
phone.
when Brodnick sapped me. I got out of there somehow and grabbed a taxi for the Embarcadero. The time was 11:55.
Time was
The SS
11:55.
Lorraine was scheduled to sail at midnight.
And I was going to have sex at noon. I had a problem. I wasn't going to make it.
I was no sooner across it than they hauled up the gangplank and the ship started moving out of the berth. I didn't know where she was bound for, and I didn't much care. I I checked the passenger list and found that Major and Mrs. Andrea Vrodnik were in stateroom 12, A deck. 1 minute later, I was hammering on the door of stateroom 12. The woman in Vrodnik's stateroom was Constance, and she was not in a trunk.
I thought I told you to stop interfering in our affairs.
Yeah, your husband told me to, but I didn't like the way he did it.
Get out from here. Get out.
I see you got your trunk in here where it's handy. Doesn't it make the stateroom kind of crowded?
Why don't you give up, Mr. Spade? 2 times already, you are twice a fool. Marcia has no money to pay you, neither have I, even if she had the case. And believe me, she has not.
Oh, why do you even bother talking to him, Andre? Mr. Spade, will you go now, or will I have to call the steward and make a complaint against you?
I went. I still thought Marcia Hopkins was somewhere on that ship.
You're bugging the only ones on their honeymoon.
I found the purser's office and went in. You looked at me as if you thought I was a stowaway, Mr. Fogg, and you were right.
I'll have to make arrangements for you to ride back with a pilot, Mr. Spade.
Mr. Spade?
You realize, of course, that you're subject to a fine.
Look, I don't want to do anything illegal. You know, it was just an impulsive thing. Couldn't I book a passage?
Oh, there's the matter of your passport. We could arrange your visa and so on in St. Pedro. We'll put in there in the morning.
Well, that's good enough. How much is the fare?
Oh, let me see. That's $483.87, exclusive of tax.
Oh, hey, now, wait, I wasn't thinking of taking quite such an extensive voyage, you know. I just wanted to get a little sea air and... how much to Pedro?
Well, I'm afraid you don't understand, Mr. Spade. This is not a coastwise steamer. Our first official port of call is Calcutta.
Yeah, I know, but... Calcutta?
That's in India.
No shit.
Don't you have something a little less
That's
expensive?
in India.
Like, steerage or...
There is only one stateroom available, number 14.
Because you got to be educational, you do.
Okay, Calcutta.
Because when you're doing the radio show, you might got to get those geography points right. Calcutta's in India, don't you know?
After buying my passage to Calcutta, I had exactly 12 cents left. This I gave to the steward who showed me to my stateroom. He thanked me, kicked me in the shins, and left. Out on deck, a tall, red-nosed old gentleman in knickerbockers and a yachting cap was taking a turn around the deck. With him was a face I'd seen in the morning lineup down at the Hall of Justice a dozen times. He was a hotel thief by profession, name of Norman Gorman.
Norman Gorman, because you got a rhyme, man.
I fell into step with him.
Sea air. Nothing like it, am I right?
Yeah, I guess it's okay, but there's so much of it.
Right. Racing. Salt spray. Nothing like it.
Salt spray. Nothing like it. And he coughs up a lung.
Hey, Norman, my lad.
I hate it. I hate boats. Suppose there was a fire on board.
Fire? Oh, ridiculous. This your first voyage to the Orient?
Yeah.
The inscrutable East.
You've made this trip before?
Oh, yes, indeed. I've worked this line. Yes, indeed. I make this voyage very often. Business interest out in India. Tea, you know. Runs in my family. Sturgis's Golden Orient in the little yellow package. Ever tried it?
No, I never indulge.
Huh? Don't drink tea. That's ridiculous.
Commodore, I need a drink.
Don't
I ain't
drink
happy.
tea, that's
Suppose
ridiculous.
there was a fire on board here.
Well, let's all have a drink.
Yeah, suppose there was.
Shall we? Come on, I'll shot you to a drink, sir.
Not me, Commodore. I just remember this is Fire Prevention Week.
What's that got to do with drinking tea?
The nearest fire alarm to Vrodnik's stateroom was on the companionway leading to the A-deck corridor. It was a glass-enclosed box with a small hammer hanging on a chain. I broke the glass and turned the key. In 3 seconds flat, the entire population of A-deck were shoving each other up the companionway, grabbing for life preservers as they went. The steward hammered on the door of stateroom 12, opened it, shouted inside, and Vrodnik and Constance reluctantly came out. I ducked inside, grabbed the handle of the trunk, and started dragging it. When I got it into my stateroom, I broke the lock and lifted the lid. It was Marcia, all right. There was just time to see that before the stateroom door flew open and the ship's officer stuck his head in.
I didn't move with you. Didn't you hear the alarm?
Why, no, I didn't. What's wrong?
Never mind that. Here, take this life preserver. Get going now.
Okay, don't touch me. It makes me nervous.
All the accents. Holy shit, Batman.
20 minutes later, the
voice
captain
acting
announced
got
to the mob up on
refined.
the deck that it was a false alarm, and the passengers drifted back to their cabins. I tried to look casual as I unlocked my stateroom door and walked in. Then I stopped trying. The trunk was still there, but the lid was standing open, and it was empty. I went down to B deck and found the cabin occupied by Norm and the Commodore. That door was locked, so I kicked it in. You could still see the marks on her wrists and ankles where the cord had been. It was the girl I had seen in the trunk. It was Marcia Hopkins, and she was very much alive.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was... Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You've got to help me, Sam.
Why should I help you?
He's crazy. They're both crazy.
It all depends on who's in the trunk, doesn't it, Marcia? When it was Constance, you didn't think he was so crazy.
Oh, don't you understand? I had to pretend that I'd help him. He was going to kill her right there in the hotel room. I told him it was too dangerous. If anybody looked in the trunk, it would be safer if she was in there alive. So he finally agreed and said he'd wait until we got out to sea to kill her. And then he was
Yeah,
going
I know
to...
about that.
Oh, the idea was so awful. I couldn't stand it. I started to scream, and then he stuffed the gag in my mouth and tied me up. He must have used chloroform or something, because the next thing I knew, I was in the trunk. And that little dark man was leaning over me. He and that old man with the knickers. They brought me here.
So they pulled a switch on you. You were the fall gal all along.
Oh, you Inconceivable! It was the only way I could save her life. You're the only one I can turn to, Sam. That little thief and the old man, they'd deliver me dead if there was an extra $25 in it. Oh, say you'll help me, Sam. Please say it.
Well, when you ask me like that, what else can I say?
Oh, you do believe me, darling. You do believe me.
Come
all
on,
of a
let's
sudden,
get out
he's
of here.
darling.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spade. Please step back inside. He promised me associate Mr. Gorman that I would not allow this young lady to risk her life by leaving this cabin.
You're getting into this caper at the wrong end, Commodore. It's wound up. They've bungled it. It's no good anymore.
You may be right. But you understand my position, sir. I can't take any chances. You've talked to Mr. Gorman?
Norm? Yeah, I talked to him.
He took you into his confidence?
Stop making with the pistol, Commodore. You don't know how to use it anyway.
Oh, heavens, Norm. You're as white as a sheet. What is it?
Oh, he's sick. Go get a doctor.
Yes, indeed. Right away.
Listen, Spade. Take her with you. Get out of here. I don't want no part of this.
You got it bad, Norm.
I'm sick, I tell you. The way I had it sized, this was a clean caper, a snatch. I figured the dame here's an heiress or something. Maybe they drop her off in L.A., connect some ransom, and go on.
Correct some ransom.
I figured there was enough
Correct
for all of
some
us.
ransom.
Oh, but
Okay.
that creep, that Rodnick, he's crazy. He's a regular Jack the Ripper.
Stop babbling, Norm. Tell me what happened, exactly what happened.
I get a sinking feeling in my stomach every time I think about it. Well,
you're on
I
a
go in,
ship.
see? He's
Sinking
very smooth,
feeling
very
isn't
businesslike.
exactly
He
very
offers
good
me a
phrasing
drink. I
at this
accept it.
point.
He mixes a couple of highballs for me and the dame, then he starts talking. I guess she don't know all about it before this, because she gets just sick as I do. First, I think he's kidding. Then he drags out this set of cutlery like a doctor uses to operate on people. Only he's got something else in mind. The porthole, you understand?
Oh, please. I don't want to hear anymore.
Being as it's you he has in mind, I don't blame you. My stomach.
Hey, Norm. Norm.
Here he is, the ship's surgeon. Oh, dear me. What?
Stand away from him, please. Help me get him into the bunk.
Sure, Doctor.
That took too long. You gotta hurry up with these things. Damn.
Take the shade off that light, please. Yes.
He's dead, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he's dead, of course.
Dead
Who
as a
poisoned him?
doorknob.
I didn't waste any time answering him. I grabbed him by the arm. Before he could object, I was pushing him up the companionway to A deck. It was probably too late to save Constance's life. She'd drunk the same poison, and I was pretty sure she had, but if I was going to nail him for the murder of Constance, I had to get there before the evidence vanished. We got there just in time.
Because you always gotta
I don't need
screech.
to tell you what we saw, and I'd rather not. Brodnick rose slowly to his feet, clicked his heels military fashion, and bowed very low.
The ship's surgeon. How opportune. Perhaps you could advise me, Doctor. After all, I am, in all honesty, even still, a mere amateur at this sort of thing.
After Brodnick had been taken into custody, we took another turn around the deck.
Amateur.
It was daylight, and the ship was lying
He
to
was an
off San
amateur.
Pedro. This time, the fresh air really felt good. And so did Marcia.
So did Marcia.
sweetheart.
Double entendre there.
Say it, Sam.
Batman, you can hop into the VC, you know. We got 2 more shows to go.
I knew you felt the same way. All my life before, it's been like a terrible nightmare. Never really happened.
But it did happen, sweetheart.
Oh, but you can forget it, darling, can't you? Please forget it.
I'd like to, Marcia. I really would.
Marcia.
Never let me go.
It's always Marcia.
Is that all, Sam?
Poor Jan.
Yeah, lots of. That's why I think we better say
Because he's
goodbye
a
right
Bond
now.
villain. It's what he sounds like, right?
Like this, I get foolish. And if I get
I've
foolish
got all
with
4
you,
slots open for
I'm
heckling
likely to
this
wake
thing
up
if
in a
anybody
trunk
wants to
someplace.
pop in.
And that, Mr. Fogg, is the true account of the Calcutta trunk caper. As my voyage was interrupted through no fault of my own, I trust you will advise your company to refund my passage minus the one-way trip to San Pedro. Period, and a report.
Because you have to end it with dramatic organ music. Because that's the only way to go. Alright, so we have 2 shows left. And I'm going to let you guys decide which one you want to hear next. And here we go. So, one's in the chat if you want to hear The Saint first. 2's in the chat if you want to hear Basil Rathbone as Sherlock Holmes next.
Basil Ratbones.
Yep.
Basil Ratbones what?
As Sherlock Holmes. See, you missed that part, didn't you?
So, Basil Ratbones Sherlock Holmes, does he?
The dad jokes are making
Yes, you can tell I was trying to work that one in.
Yeah. Let's see.
I've just woken up as well. So, Mitch typed in a 1.
Okay, so Mitch wants the Saint next. So that's 1 vote for the Saint. All
and
right.
Sora Luna does as well.
All right, so we got Sora Luna. Yeah, mine's a little delayed because I'm watching the combined chat through on my OBS through Restream. So it's taking
you have warned these people that it's not the same Saint as played by Roger Moore.
No, this is the Saint played by Vincent Price.
That is a Saint I would not like to meet. The patron saint of crapping yourself.
Okay, so we have 2-1, so I guess the next one is going to be the Saint. Leslie Charteris created blah 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 because I can't English apparently even when it's written. Created Simon Templar, also known as the Saint, in the 1928 novel Meet the Tiger. The Saint was originally a thief who robbed the ungodly, usually criminals or other lowlifes, to enrich himself or might occasionally capture a criminal for the same purpose. The character moved and acted with charm and style and grew to be considered the Robin Hood of modern crime. The character hit the silver screen with The Saint in New York starring Lewis Hayward. George Sanders took over the role in 1939 and in 5 films made the Saint his own as a dashing, witty, and formidable force against the ungodly, becoming far more of a detective than the original character. This was carried on for 2 more films with slightly less success by Hugh Sinclair. The next Saint film wouldn't be made until 1953 with Lewis Hayward reprising the role in The Saint's Girl Friday. The Saint what?
So he was basically a religious bigot.
Sounds that way. The Saint came to radio in 1940 with a 6-week run in Ireland over Radio Athlone, or Athlone, or however you say that. In 1945, The Saint came to radio in 2 separate series. In January, NBC introduced the 13-week series starring Edgar Barrier. In June, CBS produced a 13-week series starring Brian Ahern. However, it was in 1947 that local CBS affiliate KNX introduced the most memorable radio saint as Vincent Price took over the role and would play it only not over KNX but also over Mutual and NBC, with Tom Conway taking over the role for the summer of 1951. So, with a little bit of history under our belt, and without further ado, we will now get into The Saint, the episode called The Connolly Silver Mine.
The Adventures of the Saint, starring Vincent Price. The Saint, based on characters created by Leslie Charteris and known to millions from books, magazines, and motion pictures. The Robin Hood of modern crime is now transcribed for radio, starring Hollywood's brilliant and talented actor Vincent Price as the Saint.
Because you gotta preface it dramatically.
Anything wrong, Captain? Nothing serious, Mr. Templar. Just coming down here for a check. Go on just as soon as we can. Oh, and where is here? Headstone, New Mexico. Used to be a big silver mining town, but now it's just another little town, I guess. Although I did notice there's a carnival playing over on the edge of this emergency landing strip.
Well, how long are we to enjoy the hospitality of Headstone?
Oh, 2 or 3 hours. Long enough to see the town, have dinner if you like. We're sorry to delay you, sir.
Oh, it's all right, Captain. I'm seldom bored in a strange town.
Well, you better go back and fasten your seatbelt, Mr. Templar. We're coming down now.
Right, I'll see you later.
Or is the township kind of weird, Lovecraftian monster that eats people?
Well, good evening, Saint. You know me? Yet I don't seem to recall your face. Harry Kelly, and you don't recall my face because we've never met, but I've seen many pictures of you, and so I recognized you immediately. Well, that's very flattering. Tell me, Mr. Kelly, how can I get into town? You can find a cab on the other side of the carnival. Planning on staying long? Not at all. Should I? On the contrary, I was just going to suggest that I doubt if Headstone would welcome the presence of the saint. Just a friendly remark, you understand. Oh, naturally. And if I may be permitted a friendly question, why are you telling me this? Just an interest in the continued health of my fellow human. If you have any trouble in town, look me up. Anyone can tell you where to find me.
Yeah, well, he's not trying, is he, pirate?
See little Fatima, the girl who shakes and shivers like a bowl full of jelly. Only 1 dime, 10 cents, the 10th part of $1. Hurry, 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 step right up here.
For you. I read the past, the present.
Extreme, Saint sleeps in coffin.
I already know it, Grandmother. I'm destined to meet a tall, dark, and beautiful woman. I'll settle for nothing less.
See strange lines on your
guide.
I will tell your fortune without charge. Give me your hand. I see danger. Beware of a blonde young woman. She will bring you death.
There are worse ways of dying, Grandmother.
I see danger. Much danger for one with a halo about his head. Blood and death. Unless he travels, I see...
I think I'm beginning to get the idea. You might tell your crystal ball that I'm beginning to be interested. Goodbye, Grandmother, and may the saints bless you. Taxi, mister? Oh, thank you. Say, do you suppose you can drive me somewhere that serves a good dinner? Sure. Silver Dollar Hotel. Yeah. Fine.
You know, I was just sitting there communing with nature about how many guys there are who blow their wad to watch some dame do a hula but won't spend the time on a hack.
Do I detect a touch of Brooklyn?
How could you miss? That's me, chum. Ziggy from Flatbush. I used to drive a hack in Brooklyn. Now I own the only hack in Headstone. It's light, huh? You know, I ain't seen a Brooklyn Bridge for 10 years since I come out here for my health.
You gotta overpronounce things.
Like I always say, it's a smart man who knows when it's healthy to get out of town.
Meaning what?
Does everything have to mean something? Me, I mind my own business. I stay healthy. That's why I'm living in Headstone instead of under one.
I see. But if you didn't mind your own business, I suppose you'd give me some advice about leaving Headstone. Is that it?
No advice, man. That's part of minding my
Yeah,
own business.
you ain't gonna leave here
Headstone's
standing
a great
up.
place for strangers to visit. If they paid up their insurance.
If they paid up the...
Yep. Yeah, you got it.
That's what we call foreshadowing.
Here you are, waiter. Very nice dinner. My check, please. No, thank you. Keep the change.
Hello.
Well, this is a surprising hotel. First a beautiful dinner, and then an even more beautiful blonde.
May I sit down?
Oh, by all means, Miss...
Betty Conley. You're Simon Templar?
I should have worn my dark glasses. But now that the truth is out, you might as well call me Simon.
All right, Simon.
Now, how did you know who I am? Now, don't tell me that you were just passing and recognized me.
Well, Ziggy told me that you were here. He owns and drives the taxi here in Headstone.
I know I shouldn't look a gift blonde in the hair, but why did Ziggy tell you I was in here?
Well, Ziggy knows that I need help, and he thought, well, that is, since you're the saint, you might help me.
Perhaps you could help me with the spiders from Mars.
Blondes on occasion. But tell me why you should need help, Betty.
Someone's been trying to kill me.
Oh, there should be a law against that. Are you sure?
I've been shot at twice, and everybody here has been very unfriendly, except Ziggy and a man named Harry Kelly.
I've noticed the unfriendliness in this town. But being unfriendly towards you is obviously an indication of insanity.
Oh, please don't joke about it. I'm frightened.
All right, my dear. Now tell me about it.
Of course you're frightened. You're sitting
my father
by
was known as
Vincent
Silver
Price.
Slim Conley. He lived here for years, but he sent me east to school when I was very young, and I didn't come back here until recently. My father died about a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was broke, and all he left me was his old silver mine. He called it the Betty Mine, after me.
And I take it somebody wants the mine.
No, the mine is completely worthless. There hasn't been any silver in it for years.
But, my dear, you were shot at twice. Have you any idea who did the shooting?
No, but it might be the same man who told me to get out of town.
Oh, who?
Mike McCarthy. Ziggy says he's an eastern gangster who's been living out here for several months.
He's a gangster.
Will you help me, Mr. Simon?
Oh, look, that's a very
never been able to say no to a pretty girl.
Got to be something
You mentioned a man
like,
named
well, I don't
Harry
know.
Kelly before.
When did I
Who is
sing?
he?
He knew my father. He's been very friendly to me, although he thought I ought to leave town, too.
I've met Mr. Kelly, and he intrigues me very much. I think we'll go see him.
All right. Oh, just a minute. There was some red dust on your coat.
Oh, thank you. Ziggy apparently doesn't get enough passengers to keep his cab
It's those
dusty.
spiders from Mars again.
Did you say Ziggy was parked outside in his chariot?
Mm-hmm. He was when I came in. Oh, there he is.
Yes, looking exactly as if he were back in Brooklyn. Ziggy!
Oh, so she fine.
Thanks to your bird dogging, which I must admit in this case has done much to overcome any natural prejudice against cab drivers that I might have. Say, do you know where Harry Kelly lives?
Sure.
And let's go then. Hey, don't you ever clean out this hack? What's all this dust?
Who knows? Maybe it was that redhead that hired me.
Yeah, he's Harry Kelly.
She had dandruff.
Ziggy, you missed your call.
He's Harry Kelly.
You're
rather
as funny
smelly.
as an undertaker. Well, now, Ziggy,
Hold on,
I don't
hold on.
suppose you'd care to tell me
He's
why
an
you
Eastern
warned me to
gangster.
get out of Headstone.
So you sure it's Harry Kelly, not
Nothing
Harry
all
Curry?
along, Saint. I wasn't warning you. I was just talking about myself.
And I don't suppose you'd care to tell me why somebody took pot shots at Miss Connolly here and told her to get out of town, too.
Me, I don't know nothing. Like I was telling you,
double
Saint, I
negative.
mind my own business. Maybe you stay
Doesn't
ignorant
live.
that way, but it's healthier, and I like it like
And
that.
in that case, why did you send Miss Connolly in to see me?
Well, like you can see, she's a pretty little pigeon. She needs
Mitch,
to know
you're
some
right.
guy who'll help her.
She's a pretty little
Now,
chick.
it ain't no
That's
secret that the
sexist.
saint
You
goes
called her a
around mixing
pigeon.
in other people's business, so
I'm
I
like
tell her to
triggered
see
in
you.
some
Who
junk
told
like
you I
that,
was the saint?
I got eyes in my head, ain't I? Like I said, I used to hack in Brooklyn. I got around.
What about this Mike McCarthy?
Strictly smart money.
Why would he call her a
A lot of
pigeon?
guys have crossed his path once.
Did she go?
She gets what I mean.
What about
Did she,
Harry
run
Kelly?
around the town, pooping on
focus
statues or
on-
something?
A nice schmo, but no more.
You're doing all right for a guy that doesn't know anything.
Mitch is right. There's a major blow in his coat.
Ziggy, he looks people over, but he don't see nothing except one guy is tough, another guy is schmo, and maybe another guy is too nosy.
I really don't think we should try to involve Ziggy, Simon. He's been very nice as it is.
She's got something, pal. I ain't really equipped for it because the way you're
I've got no testicles.
only a saint could feel at home.
I'm sorry,
Well, here we are, Saint. Kelly lives on the first floor in the rig.
Oh, thanks. Wait for us, Ziggy. We've got a couple of other calls to make after this.
Don't worry, I'll wait. If you get in any trouble, just yell. Then I'll drive over and tell the sheriff I heard somebody yell for help.
Oh, thanks, pal. Come on, Betty. I hope our friend is in and that he talks.
Yes. Strange. Harry telling you to come and see him if you had any trouble.
Well, you know, it's a good
if he
thing
had
that
any
he talks.
connection with me, then why hasn't he said something to me?
Well, he sounded to me like a cautious
Neither
man.
does this walking.
Maybe he did know something, but didn't want to say anything unless he
It doesn't
felt sure
sound like the
something was
walking.
going to be
Sounds
done.
like some guy in the back
Well, we'll
skipping
soon know.
slowly.
Yes, who is it?
Simon Templar.
Oh, the saint. Just a minute.
Those shots were in that room.
This is no time for conversation, darling. We're going in.
Oh, but...
Like this. Kelly.
Oh, Simon.
Kelly. Kelly, this is Simon Templar.
Saint?
Yes, Kelly, the saint. Who shot you?
The window.
The window shot him. Kind of a weird show. Is this where windows can shoot people?
Kelly. Well, Betty, he isn't going to tell us
He must
anything
have
now.
uttered that spell from Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Killer did a very thorough job. Open.
Yeah, I know who it was. It was
Here.
Alice.
There's
She
a
shot
shell
him
on
from
the back.
Wonderland.
But what was he saying?
Sounded like sin. Come on, Betty. We're going to spread a little saintliness. And I think I know where to begin.
No,
Spread a little saintliness. Somehow that sounds messy.
But, Ziggy, didn't you hear anything?
Well, I noticed some noise, but like I told you...
I know. You mind your own business.
Are we going to the sheriff's, Simon?
No, not yet. Ziggy, who's the assayer in this town?
Old Man Matthews. The office is closed now, but he lives right ahead there. That big white house.
Okay, stop there.
But, Simon...
I'd like to satisfy...
All right, I know
curiosity
the
about
bad
that
guy.
line
It's
of
Old
yours.
Man Matthews, isn't it?
I'll be right back.
Tony, the shit isn't going to get there. It's going to be stopped by a gang of kids and their dog.
Probably.
Come in, I'm dead.
What do you want?
Mr. Matthews.
Who else should be here? It's my house, ain't it? What do you want?
My name is Simon Templar. I wanted to ask you if you know the Connolly silver mine.
I know every mine within 200 miles of here, young fella. Hey, ain't that Betty Connolly sitting up there in that taxi?
Yes.
Then why can't she tell you about the mine? She owns it.
Well, she has told me, but I just wanted to check about the possibility of a mistake. How much silver would you say there was in the Connolly mine?
About enough to put in your eye and still leave room for your finger?
Couldn't there be a hidden vein in it?
Nope. There ain't been enough silver around here to make a dime for years and years.
Could there be anything else of value in it?
Mud and water, if you call that valuable.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure. Young fella, I've been here man and boy for 70 years, and I ain't got no time to stand around answering darn fool questions. Goodbye.
Well, goodbye.
Well, he's a nice guy.
And Betty, you may be right. Old Man Matthews says the mine is worthless, too. So, Ziggy, take us to see Mike McCarthy.
Are you sure you want to go there, Sam? If I was you, I'd get on that plane. It's leaving pretty soon.
No, Ziggy, I've decided not to leave Headstone just yet. Later, you can drive me over to Albuquerque, and I'll take the chief the rest of the way.
Just don't forget to turn left.
Your funeral.
Or was it right?
You're reading the map upside down again.
Simon, please be careful.
Don't you worry, Betty. The Halo Wearers Benevolent Association would be very upset if anything happened to me. I'll be right up.
I don't believe you just said that.
Thank you for the BTK for the $3.50 donation.
I'm looking for
to
Mike
the Stream
McCarthy.
Labs.
Well, you found him. It's my Boy Scout training. It never fails. My name is Simon Templar.
The Saint?
Shakes
I've
cup.
been known
There
by
we go.
that name.
So what?
That's a very interesting question. I must try to think of an answer sometime. Meanwhile, I thought you might like to know that I heartily
Hello,
disapprove
Mitch.
of your telling a certain Miss
Blah, blah,
Bessie
blah, blah,
Conley
blah,
that she
blah.
ought to leave town.
Exactly.
What's a girl to you?
That's my business.
I could make it mine. And if I do, your halo's going to slip down and start choking you.
I thought bullets were more in your line.
Meaning what?
Not everyone can be a
Miss
pimp,
Connolly and a
Mr.
little
Templar.
gunning job only a few minutes ago.
I didn't do any
It's
gunning.
meant to
But I'm
you,
liable
sir.
to if you don't beat it.
You sound so sure of yourself, Michael.
That's because I got more in my hand than an itching palm.
That's after you used to beat
I'm
it.
very much afraid that nothing will satisfy my curiosity
lotion,
short
it
of knowing
saves
why
them.
you want to get Miss Connolly out of town.
I got answers
That
for
takes
nosy
most of
guys.
politics.
6 of them. I just stand right there. Stay away from that desk, Saint, or I'll...
Don't worry, Mike. I have no interest in the desk at all, but I do have an interest in Miss Connolly. And now, Michael, I'll bid you adieu.
No, not the music, not the music.
Yes, the music.
Holy shit.
What happened, Simon?
Oh, not much, I'm afraid. The conversation was just getting interesting when Mike had a sudden attack of dropsy.
That's funny. I never heard of him being sick.
Oh, that's because you mind your own business, Ziggy, like you told me. Betty, where is that silver mine of yours?
Case of the
About
drops.
2 miles out of town.
Is there any place in town where we can rent a car?
Oh, why, I have a car. Why?
I
How
feel a
come that sounds like a
prospecting
form of
urge coming over
diarrhea?
me. Ziggy, take us to Miss Connolly's car, and then we can dispense with your valuable service.
What's wrong with my car?
Nothing, Ziggy. It's just that I don't like
stinks.
people looking over my shoulder, especially when I visit a lonely mine in the company of a beautiful girl.
Shut up. 50s and 40s music.
Well, here's the Betty mine, although I don't know why you want to see it.
Frankly, I don't know either. But as long as I'm here, I might as well take the 40-cent tour.
Certainly, sir. Right this way. This old cable car goes down into the mine. All we have to do is stand
But
on the
it never
platform and
comes
pull
back.
the cable. It works for balanced weight.
Clever, these 49ers. How far down?
On the
That's
40-cent
what she
tour, we
asked.
give the exact distance. 354 feet, 6 inches.
Thank you.
Just
And,
far enough for
thank you for
the
having
exposition
electric
to
lights in a
run its
mine that
course.
hasn't been
Right.
worked for years.
Oh, the mine has its own battery. See? Here's a
The
bulb
mine
on the
moves?
car.
Oh.
Shall we go down?
What are we waiting for? Let's go. Maybe the light will go out.
Just hold it like that. I've been waiting for you two.
Well, Michael McCarthy,
So wait, they're
I was
both
wondering
gonna go
if we
down.
were going to have your company.
And this
Okay.
time, wise guy, don't try anything.
Don't tell me, Michael, that you're going prospecting with us.
I'm riding down with you. But I'm coming back alone. Start the car down, Saint, but don't try no tricks.
You have a suspicious mind,
Don't
Michael.
try no tricks. That's the
Well,
negative. There's no
Here we go. Call out your floors, please. Mezzanine, ladies' underwear, galoshes, and accessories.
You'll be singing a different tune pretty soon, Saint. You both had your chance to leave town your way. Now you're going to leave my way.
Oh,
You had a
I'm
chance to leave,
sorry.
see?
Oh,
Now
don't
we're
be,
gonna
Betty.
give you some
This is my first ride on an open cable car.
Oh,
It'll be your
none of me
last.
can leave
I
the
wouldn't
town
be too
this
sure.
way.
Unless that cable
By train.
breaks before we get to the farm.
What are you talking about?
It was a distraction.
It's a little crowded here for a 1-2, so I guess a 1.5 will have to do.
I didn't see that mine shaft.
Terrible.
Of course not.
And that's what happens when you try to sneak into the
I
Batcave.
mean, it could have been you. He almost knocked you off the platform, too.
With the padded shoulders in my coat, I felt them hit the side.
Oh, look at your shoulders. They're covered with dirt from the sides of the shaft.
Yeah. It's ripped.
The sides of the
Wait a
shaft.
Well, we can go back up, Betty. Mike doesn't need our help, and I don't need anybody to answer questions anymore.
Because I've got a band.
How did it occur?
Shut up, bassoon.
Get down into that
Oh,
mine.
Simon, I'll never understand you. Why did you look at the dirt on your coat and say you didn't need any more questions?
Because that dirt was red sulfide, Betty. And it explains why Mike was so anxious to run you out of town.
Well, I don't see how. Red sulfide is used in paint, but that doesn't make it valuable.
Red sulfide is also cinnabar ore, from which we get mercury, and that is pretty valuable. Evidently, your mine is rich in cinnabar, so it's worth a lot of money, Betty.
Oh, then that was what Kelly was trying to tell us when he said sin.
Yes, he was trying to say cinnabar.
How can I ever thank you, Simon?
Well, I have a couple of ideas on the subject. Oh, but now people would say I was chasing you for your money. So, I guess you can just see me off on the train. We'll stop in town and have Ziggy drive us to Albuquerque.
Oh, but
Well, I guess you could just stroke me off on the train.
I don't want you coming back alone. I may want to change my mind about fortune hunting.
Yes, you showed me your mind. Yes, you showed me your mind.
Overbearing music. It's
Well,
so
like
bad.
I said, Saint, I'm glad to see you leaving. This town is just funny about strangers. But hadn't you ought to take Miss Conley with you?
But she doesn't have to go now, Ziggy, and besides, she's rich.
She's what?
Yes, Vicky, we found out that Dad's mine is valuable after all.
You mean you found silver in it?
No, mercury.
Oh,
No, we found Tonto.
That's the stuff, Ziggy. But it's used for a lot of other things, particularly in wartime, and it's worth a lot of money.
We're not going to
Oh,
tell
what do
you
you
what
know?
he's doing.
Well, that's why Mike was trying to make you leave.
But it wasn't pretty.
Well, did you stop and tell the sheriff?
We didn't have time, but I'll see him when we go back.
Never stop and tell
That's pretty nice for you, ain't it, Betty? Oh, here we are. Just in time, too. The chief's in already.
Very nice timing, Ziggy.
The sheriff is
Thanks,
too
Betty, for
busy
keeping my
deputizing the
fortune
ladies'
as a
auxiliary.
headstone.
Oh, Simon. Well, why don't you stay in Headstone? I won't know how to run the mine or what to do with the money or anything.
You'll learn, Betty. You know what to do when you get back to town?
Yes, but well, will the sheriff believe me? I mean, about Mike McCarthy killing Harry Kelly.
I don't think he will, since Mike didn't kill Kelly.
But
Kelly was shot with an automatic. It ejected a shell on the fireplace, remember? But Mike McCarthy carried a revolver. You saw it.
yes, but will the sheriff?
Oh, the sheriff will believe when you show him that the gun that killed Kelly is in Ziggy's pocket.
What? What are you talking about?
You knew about the cinnabar ore in the mine. You carried some of it away to be tested in your cab. And there was red dust in it, which you tried to explain with a corny gag.
You're crazy.
Harry Kelly had an idea what was going on, so you slipped around to the back while we were at the front door and killed him.
All right, wise guy, you're so smart. What about Mike?
Mike was working for you.
But Simon, Ziggy told me that you were in town.
Sure, he couldn't be sure that I wasn't here to break up his little scheme, so the smartest thing to do was to get us together so he could watch both of us. He thought I would use his cab, as I did, and it would be easy. But he slipped up when he sent Mike out to the mine.
It's fucking stupid.
Ziggy was the only one who knew where we were going.
Yep.
Okay, pal, you asked for it.
Like you said, pal, you should have followed your own advice about minding your own business. Well, he's all yours, Betty. The gun that killed Kelly is now on the seat beside him. All you have to do is turn the body and the gun over to the sheriff, and from there on in, he'll mind Ziggy's business for him.
But Simon...
Don't worry, Betty. I'll stop back someday to make sure that Venus is in conjunction with Mercury.
Da, 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 da. No. Don't worry, Betty. I'll be back in time to make sure your pants are filled with euphemisms.
All right, and the last one, because, last but not least, as we like to say, is The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, shit. Oh, wait a minute. That's...
What do you mean, not least?
What?
No, last but definitely least.
No, Sherlock Holmes is cool. Don't you, Gigi?
Not the new one, because it's like 1950s propaganda from what I remember.
The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes was an old-time radio show which aired in the USA from October 2nd, 1939 to July 7th, 1947. Originally, the show starred Basil Rathbone as Sherlock Holmes and Nigel Bruce as Dr. Watson. Together, they starred in 220 episodes, which aired weekly on Mondays from 8:30 to 9 p.m. bromoquinine, or quinine, sponsored some of the earlier programs on the NBC Blue Network, and for a period, Parker Penn was the sponsor. The show first aired on the Blue Network, but later moved to the Mutual Broadcasting System. Basil Rathbone's last episode as the famous detective was the singular affair of the Baconian cipher. He was eager to separate himself from the cast type of Holmes, and even though the show's sponsor, Petri Wine, offered him generous pay to continue, he decided to move on. Once he did, the sponsor did as well, and Tim Conway took the starring role, though Nigel Bruce got top billing and was always announced first. The new sponsor was Kreml Hair Tonic for Men, and the new series only lasted 39 episodes. So, and here we go, The Adventure of the Missing Submarine Plans.
Oh, it's going to be a takeoff of the Bruce Partington plans, I believe.
Lovely.
Well,
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Basil
Watson, we found the horn
Nigel Bruce.
section.
Who are you calling Watson?
What? Watson, we found the long dramatic music.
Tablets bring you another
I
adventure of Sherlock
say,
Holmes
Holmes.
with Basil
Why are you
Rathbone
rubbing
as
that
Sherlock
citrus
Holmes
fruit on my
and
posterior?
Nigel Bruce as Dr.
Lemon entry, my dear Watson. Lemon entry.
A cold is a miserable thing. A cold may become a dangerous thing. Even a
Sherlock
so-called
Holmes is
light
brought to you by
cold can
Ridgedale
be
brand
a
sleeping
serious
pills. Turns a first state into a
decisive in your
guaranteed
treatment of a cold.
extravaganza.
At the very first sign of a cold, take Grove's bromoquinine tablets. Bromoquinine tablets quickly check the symptoms of a cold, quickly relieve the distress of a cold. They give you speedy results, which are very important. Don't monkey around when you can get such a dependable preparation as Grove's bromoquinine tablets.
Grove's
bromoquinine
tablet.
Usual visit to
Just
Dr.
like
Watson.
swallowing your own
Waiting for
doctor.
us in his study, a cheerful blaze crackling on the hearth.
Very relieved to see you, Mr. Manning. Hasn't the weather been atrocious today? I was beginning to wonder if you'd be able to get here tonight through all this fog.
Yes, it certainly is what you Londoners call a regular pea super.
Yes, indeed. Reminds me of the adventure of the missing submarine plans. The case was solved in the underground.
Underground?
What you Americans call a subway.
Yes, but what has the solution in a subway got to do with a foggy night?
Well, you see, the affair started in weather exactly like this. It was the third week in November, the year 1895, to be exact. On Monday, a dense yellow fog had settled down upon London. On Thursday, it was still there, thicker and murkier than ever.
Thickier?
First, Holmes had turned his
Thickier,
nervous energy to
like a truck here.
cross-indexing his huge reference.
But wider.
But when, after pushing our breakfast chairs back for the fourth morning, we saw the greasy brown swirl still drifting past the windows, Holmes's patience snapped.
Does it usually snap?
So someone farted by a window?
Well, yeah, but Muddy, this time Holmes is trying to be a doctor.
Holmes, if you must pace around in circles, I wish you'd change directions now and then. You're making me dizzy.
Bah, it's inexcusable, Watson, inexcusable. No
Bah.
initiative, no imagination. Nothing ever gets done.
If you're alluding to the inactivity in this last session of Parliament, my dear Holmes...
I'm not speaking of our lawmakers, Watson, but of our lawbreakers. The London criminal is certainly a dull fellow.
Sure.
Well, look out of the window. Ideal weather for committing a crime. The criminal advances on his intended victim practically unseen. He pounces and disappears into thin air.
There have been numerous petty thefts, I believe.
Petty theft, pickpockets, ragamuffins. What's the country coming to? Now, if I were a
Pickpockets and
criminal, Watson...
pickpockets.
Well, I, for one, would move to America.
Oh, hello, Mrs.
Am I-
Watson's knocking. Excited. What's up, I wonder?
Am I mistaken, or is a ragamuffin a breakfast pastry?
Yes, Very well, thank you.
Yes, you are mistaken.
Oh, wait until I open it, can't you?
Oh, bloody hell.
Ah, dear me. What next? Most unusual, Watson. Most unusual.
What's most unusual, Watson? What's it say?
Well, it's
Getting
my brother
pegged by-
Mycroft. You remember him?
By,
He helped us solve the
What the
case of
hell's
the
her
Greek
name?
interpreter. He's coming here.
Well, What's so phenomenal about
Why
this?
not? Why not, indeed?
Mrs.
It
Hudson.
would be to meet a
Jeez.
tram car coming down a country lane. Yes, now I come to think of it. Like a
yes.
tram car. His rails lead from his Pall Mall lodgings to the Diogenes Club in Whitehall. That's his circle. I wonder what upheaval could have derailed him.
Doesn't the telegram explain?
It says, must see you
Bad
about
lunch?
Duggan West, coming at once.
Duggan West. Duggan West? Why, that's the young chap who's found dead in the underground on Tuesday morning. I remember reading about it in the papers.
Oh?
The young man had apparently fallen out of a train and killed himself. He hadn't been robbed, and there was no reason to suspect violence. Quite an uninteresting case, if I remember
And
correctly.
yet, it's serious enough to cause Mycroft to alter his habits. No, Watson. This must be an extraordinary
Don't
event.
just fall
Do you
out
recall
of
any other facts about
trains
the affair?
in the underground
I come to
Not
think of it,
often.
there was one unusual
unless
bit
somebody
about
opens
came
the
out of
door
the
and
inquest.
pushes you out.
They were unable to ascertain at what point he entered
Hey,
the
look,
train.
Jimmy, a wall.
His
Boom.
ticket was missing. Strange.
What articles were found on the body?
£2.15, I believe it was, a checkbook and... Oh, yes, 2 dress circle tickets for the Woolwich Theatre. Dated for that evening.
Theatre tickets, eh? Then it wasn't
Watson
suicide.
sounds like he's late
Man
for a
doesn't
snap.
procure theatre tickets for the evening on which he intends to end his life. Anything
Yeah.
else?
There's actually no mystery going on here. It's just Sherlock Holmes is a very creative carer for Watson,
kind of technical
who's
papers?
got dementia.
The newspapers didn't say.
As serious as that. What did the young man do? Where was he employed?
He was a clerk at Woolwich Arsenal.
Ah, government employee. There we have it, Watson. British government.
To you Americans, that's a
Woolwich
clerk.
Arsenal, technical papers. That's why Mycroft is involved in this affair.
I don't understand.
No, I suppose not. Watson, have I ever told you what Mycroft is?
Your brother, of course.
No, Watson. Do you have to be so dense? I mean, do you know
Yes, he
what he does?
does.
Well, yes, sir. It's in the
Some
script.
vague recollection that you once told me that he'd held some small office under the British government.
It would be more accurate to say, in a way, that he is the British government.
What?
His position is unique. He made it for himself. As the tidiest and most orderly brain of any man alive, with a great capacity for storing facts and giving them the proper interpretation. The conclusions of every government department are passed on to him. He's the central exchange, the clearinghouse. Again and again, his word has decided the national policy. He thinks of nothing else. Nothing else can lure him from his contemplations.
And yet he's coming here.
Yes, Jupiter is descending on us today.
What on
no
earth even
kidding.
happened?
And Watson, that
Not
sounds...
David if you were to
like a
unchain him
bad
from the wall.
Ah, here he is, if I'm not mistaken. To speak for himself.
Yes, this is
Come in.
based heavily on the Bruce
Hello,
Barnington plan.
Mycroft. What's up? You look flustered.
Most annoying business, Sherlock, most annoying. You know how I dislike altering my habits. Extremely awkward for me to come away from the office, particularly with Siam.
Sit down, Mycroft, sit down. You know Watson, of course.
Yes, of course. I'm trying to find a
Mrs.
chair
Tablets
that I
and
can just hold there.
I'd better take the sofa. You certainly haven't got any thinner.
I've never seen a
Take
prime
the
minister
sofa, I'd rather take a taxi.
The Admiralty, it's buzzing like an upset beehive. You know anything about the case?
Watson's just been telling me what was in the newspapers. Just what were the technical papers found on the body?
Sherlock, for the love of heaven, not so loud. Those papers which the wretched youth had in his pocket were none other than the plans of the Bruce Partington submarine.
Oh?
A submarine which will completely
I win.
revolutionize naval war.
We don't.
The most important papers in our government archives. Under no circumstances could they be removed from the office. Even the chief constructor of the Navy was forced to go to Woolwich if he desired to consult them.
And yet we find them in the pockets of a dead junior clerk in the heart of London. Yeah, from an official point of view, it's deplorable, my dear Mycroft. Simply deplorable.
You may laugh, Sherlock, but this country won't be safe until they are recovered.
But I thought you said that they were found in the pocket of this chap, Cadogan West.
10 papers taken from Woolwich. 7 were found in the pockets of Cadogan West. 3 are still missing, the 3 essential ones. To recover those 3 papers is imperative. The peace of Europe depends on it.
Nice little problem, eh, Watson? Why did Cadogan West take the papers? How did he die? How did his body reach the place where it was found? And where are
And
the
who was
missing
that
papers?
masked man?
Find the answer to those questions, Sherlock, and you'll have done your
Indeed.
country an invaluable service.
Oh, why don't you solve it yourself, Mycroft? I believe you could.
Possibly. But it's a question of digging out details. Give me the details, and I can give you the solution from an armchair. No, when it comes to running about and cross-questioning railway guards and lying on one's face with a lens to one's eye, no, that's not my métier.
No.
Besides, your
I'm really
your
glad I
figure
didn't live in
prevents
the
your
days of
taking
radio,
such an undignified
dramas.
position, eh? Very well. Leave that part of it was.
I would have ended up killing somebody out of boredom.
Good. I've got a cab
Hmm.
waiting outside to take the place where the body was found. I can give you the details on the way.
I can give you the details along with the horn section.
Yeah, well, the rest of the orchestra's gone off.
Now, Mycroft.
News
Who was the
kept in
official
the
guardian of
refrigerator.
these famous papers?
No less a personage than Sir James Walter, a gentleman who's grown grey in the service. His patriotism is beyond suspicion.
A bachelor, if I'm not mistaken, lives with his brother.
Yes. He was at the house of Admiral Sinclair at Berkeley Square during the whole of the evening when this accident occurred. The Admiral vouches for him. He's one of the two who have the only keys to the safe.
And his key was with him all evening?
Right. His key, the key to the building, and the key to the room.
Who was the man with the other key?
The senior clerk, Mr. Sidney Johnson. Man of 40, married, silent, morose, with an excellent service record.
Any alibi?
He, too, had his key with him and seems to have spent the evening playing a game of drafts with the green grocer around the corner from his lodgings. Of course, he has only the word of this green grocer to back him up.
Oh, come, my dear Mycroft. No class discriminations, please. The word of a greengrocer is often just as good as that of an admiral. What about Cadogan West?
He had a good reputation.
Blah,
Bit
blah,
hot-headed, but straight and honest. At least everyone thought so. He was next to Sidney Johnson at the office.
Bro.
His duties brought him into daily personal contact with the plans. No one else ever had the handling of them.
Oh, it's perfectly clear. He must have taken...
Ah, not so fast, Watson, not so fast. Who locked them up that night?
Mr. Sidney Johnson.
Ah, they were of value, commercially, I mean.
Oh, yes. There's no doubt that West could have got several thousands for them very easily.
And yet, only a small amount of money was found on the body.
Perhaps the buyer took it back after he'd murdered West.
What puzzles me is, how did West obtain possession of those papers? To do so, he must have had a false key.
Several false keys, Sherlock. He had to open the building and the room as well.
Oh, well, several false keys then. Let me see. Suppose West did take the papers and went into town. And on the way back to Woolwich, where he is hoping to replace the papers, he's killed and thrown from the train.
But the spot where the body was found is considerably past the station for London Bridge, which is the route to Woolwich.
That's interesting. Also, if young West did make an appointment with
West
some foreign
didn't
agent
take
to
the
sell the
papers.
papers
He's
that
just
night,
a patsy
why
that
didn't he
somebody
keep the evening
killed
clear? Why
Sherlock
buy 2
put
theatre
him off the
tickets?
track.
Exactly. Furthermore, he actually escorted his fiancée halfway there before he disappeared.
Blind. That's what it looks like to me.
Why did he take the papers at all? Why not copy them out in the office and sell the copies? He certainly had plenty of opportunity to do so. And why the absence of his underground ticket?
Perhaps the ticket would have shown us which station was near the agent's house. So the murderer destroyed it.
Good, Watson. Very good. And yet, I wonder.
Well, here's the underground station. The railway authorities have sent a man round to show the exact place where the body was found.
You won't change your mind and come with us?
Well, crawling round that black hole on my hands and knees, not very likely. Well, I should expect a report on your efforts this evening.
Never expect too much, Mycroft. Never expect too much.
Get some different musical
Before we
instruments.
follow Holmes and Watson into the mazes of the London subway system, I have a word of advice. Every year,
Don't.
colds cause a lot of sickness. Every year, they cause a lot of expense and time lost from work. Always regard a cold seriously. Always treat it earnestly.
Always swallow your
Sign of a
doctor.
cold, take Grove's bromoquinine tablets. Bromoquinine
First
tablets
sign
are
of a
famous
cold,
relief for
shoot
the
them
distress
and
of a cold.
burn the
Their
victim.
efficacy has been fully established. Bromoquinine tablets go right to work on a cold symptom. They don't waste any time. They don't pull any punches. They quickly relieve...
And they'll rub your efficacy until orgasm.
Reduce the fever of a cold. Thousands of people keep bromoquinine tablets handy all winter.
I can't follow
Thousands
that.
of people depend on them as their relief for colds. No other preparation enjoys greater confidence than bromoquinine
Bromoquinine.
tablets. Follow the example.
Puts her
of
out
millions,
before
and at the
she can
first
shout.
sign of a cold, take Grove's bromoquinine tablets. Get them at any drugstore.
Does
A
this
few
cloth
cents a
smell
box.
of what?
Ask specifically for
fuck it.
Groves. Groves. Bromo.
Englishman
B-R-O-M-O.
can't English?
Quinine.
Holy shit.
Q-U-I-N-I-N-E.
I got Mitch.
Groves bromoquinine tablets.
I was going to say, does this cloth smell chloroform to you?
And remember, promos before homos. Or something.
Like that.
This way.
Something era
Step right
appropriate.
along the tracks, but it isn't safe. Supposing a train should come shooting round that curve.
Oh, that's all right, sir. There won't be another for 5 minutes anyway.
That's
Here we
all
are,
right.
sir.
It's just another
This is where they
turnaround
found the
in
body.
5 minutes, no
Right
big
here
deal.
alongside the rails. Lying on its face it was.
Spooky old place, eh, Holmes? Like the catacombs, only without the skeletons.
Yeah. Anything in his hands when they found him?
No, sir.
Were they clenched or spread out as if he were protecting himself?
No, sir. They was what you might call relaxed.
Ah. What time did all this happen?
Well, sir, the trainee was hoisted out.
Yeah, and they were also on the other side of the track.
Yet about midnight on Monday.
All the carriages have been examined for signs of violence, I suppose.
They didn't find nothing. Not even the missing ticket.
They didn't find
There was
nothing.
a passenger to Aldgate on the
Why would they
ordinary
be looking
train.
for signs of
About
violins?
11:40 it was. He
They
said
were
he'd
looking
heard
for
a
signs
heavy
of nothing.
tap,
They found the
like something
violins.
striking the line, just before the train reached this station. But it was so foggy, he said he was blessed if he could see what it was.
Oh,
the hell?
what's the matter?
Oh,
What are you staring at?
The curve, Watson.
What are
Curve
they?
of the rails.
What are they? What do you mean?
I suppose there aren't many curves as abrupt as this.
No, sir, I can't say as there is.
What have curves got to do with it?
Oh, an indication.
It's not a curve, Watson. It's a 90-degree angle.
Unique.
What's love
Perfectly
got to
unique.
do?
And yet, why not? I don't see any indications of bleeding on the line.
No, sir, there wasn't any to speak of.
But I understand there was a...
The line still bleeds,
The
sir.
bone was crashed right enough.
Holmes, you hear that? It's a train. It's coming this way.
Is there another
Run
one?
for your
Bring
life.
around in
Just
5
where?
minutes. When you're paying
Up
attention.
ahead, to the
Shoot,
place where the train
Watson.
switches off.
Run, Watson,
Bring
run.
the
It's
lights
just
at
around the curve.
We'll never make it.
Yes, we will. Faster, faster.
There's the switch up ahead. Come on.
Here comes the train now.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
Was it a train set? They just fall asleep in the train.
You're on the wrong
I
Watson, you've led to the orchestra. Bloody hell, man.
Well, that was a narrow escape, Holmes. I must say my knees are still shaking. Look at the shoulder of my coat where you pulled at me.
Lucky thing for you that I did.
Where are we off to now in this fog?
Yes, it's a nice afternoon. Suppose we pay a few calls. I think Sir James Walter claims our first attention. After that, we might drop in on Miss Westbury.
Miss Westbury? Who's she?
She is Cadogan West's fiancée and the last person to see him alive.
Holmes, we seem to be going around in circles. We've accomplished absolutely nothing so far except to get ourselves nearly annihilated in the underground. After all, it's perfectly obvious that the young man had a quarrel with someone, in all probability the agent, to whom he sold the papers, and got himself thrown out of the railway carriage for his pains.
I disagree with you, my dear Watson. His body fell from the roof of the carriage where it had been placed. Cadogan West met his death elsewhere.
The roof of the train?
Consider the facts, Watson. A. The curve in the tracks. The body is found at a spot where the train pitches and sways as it comes around the points. B.
thought it was funny.
There's no ticket. C. There were no signs of bleeding on the line because the body had bled elsewhere.
Of course. Everything fits together, but where was
He
the
was
body
killed by
placed
a
on the train?
vampire,
I
Watson.
think I can make a fair guess at that, my dear Watson.
Yes.
Here we are. This is the famous official villa of Sir James Walter. And that, if I'm not mistaken, is his brother, Colonel Valentine, just coming out of the house.
What's the matter with the man? He looks positively haunted.
Oh, pardon me, Colonel Valentine, but can you tell me if Sir James is at home?
Sir James, sir? Sir James is dead.
Good heavens, dead?
He died this morning. It's terrible. Terrible.
How did he die?
Oh, it's this horrible scandal. My brother, sir, was very sensitive of his honor. He couldn't survive the disgrace to his department. It broke his heart. Pardon me, gentlemen, I must go. It broke his heart.
And he was found wearing a dress.
I wonder if his death was natural, or if the poor fellow killed himself.
Well, of course his death was natural. The cause, however, wasn't.
Brian, get off the pursuit.
Yes?
But there's nowhere else to
Miss
sit.
Westbury, Mr. Sherlock Holmes would like to see her.
Oh, please come in, gentlemen. I'm Violet Westbury, Mr. Holmes. I've been expecting you ever since I heard you had taken the case. Please be seated.
Well, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, we must save his good name.
What is
He
it with
couldn't
these
have done
detectives
it.
and their
Cadogan was the
theft of
most
luggage?
chivalrous, patriotic gentleman on earth.
I've
He
got
couldn't have done
nothing.
it. He would have cut his right hand off rather than sell a state secret.
But the facts, my dear Miss Westbury.
I admit I can't explain them.
Was he in need of money?
No, Mr. Holmes. His needs were simple and his salary very good. He'd saved several £100. We were to be married at the new year.
I see. Had you noticed any signs of mental excitement?
Why, well, that is...
Well,
Miss Westbury, be frank.
he did have frequent erections.
That night, I had a feeling that there was something on his mind.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about it, will you?
Because he kept saying there's
On the way
something
to the
on the line.
theater. It was a foggy night, you remember?
We were
Not a
walking
foggy night, but
slowly.
a foggy
Our
night.
way took us close to his office.
I have no idea what a
Cadogan
foggy
seemed
night is.
thoughtful and worried.
Indeed.
Darling, what's the matter? You haven't said a word for the last 5 minutes. Have I said or done something?
Of course not.
I've been
silly.
looking up
Just
your
that I've got
dress.
something on my mind.
Well, why not tell me about it? Perhaps I can help.
It's no use, Vi. It's too serious for me to talk about, even to you.
You know, sometimes, Caddy, I feel just...
I'd like to talk to you lot about herpes.
When you're cooped up in that building all day.
Oh, now you're not going to
Why,
be
you
jealous
going
of the
bald?
building.
Well, not really. But it is
Yes.
funny to think of a husband having secrets he can't tell his wife.
Mighty important
Yeah,
secrets,
nowadays
I
we
promise
call
you.
them two
There's
Ps.
one in particular that any foreign spy would pay good money to get hold of.
How thrilling.
Well, I don't know. They're awfully slack about some things over there in that building, Violet. What's too slack? It would be too confounded easy for a traitor to get his hands on those plans.
What plans?
Never mind, darling.
Unless you had
I guess I'm getting a bit
bromoquinine
melodramatic.
pills,
There's something
tablets,
been worrying me.
lozenges.
What's that?
Cough drops.
Over there, that shadow moving along the side of the building. It's a man. So that's it. I always
Well, what'd you
suspected-
think it was?
It's the shadow!
There's something I have to find out. Stay here.
Stay here with the trumpeter. Brass section activate.
Waited. He never returned. Oh, Mr. Holmes, if you could only save his honor, it meant so much to him.
We shall do our best, Miss Westbury. This shadow, this man moving along the building. Did you see it too?
I think I did, Mr. Holmes. But the night was so
He
foggy,
appeared to
I
be
wasn't
holding his
sure. But there
wang.
must have been a man. Another man. It couldn't have been Cadogan. Surely character goes for something.
Let us hope so. Come along, Watson. We must return home. I'm expecting an answer to some telegrams I sent Mycroft earlier this afternoon. We've done enough for one day.
Oh, no. Oh, shut up.
Where have you been all day?
Thank you.
Left this morning before I was up. Now you've come home with your towel awry, your suit torn, and as ravenous as a wolf.
Yes. I've had a bit of exercise, my dear Watson. Pass me the tongue, will you? You would have done
You've been to the whorehouse, haven't you?
Investigating the premises inhabited by foreign spies known to have been in London on
Yeah,
last
and now
Monday.
he wants Watson to give him the tongue.
Took a bit of doing, too. Climbing walls, breaking into cellars, prowling around rooftops.
Well?
I discovered...
Pumping ass.
There was only one residence which had the proper facilities for disposing of West's body after the murder.
Well, whose residence was that?
It belongs to a Hugo Oberstein. The address
It was a
is
local
Social Gardens, Kensington.
cannibal
The gentleman in
Simon.
departed for Europe.
Gone, has he?
Yes.
He took the plans with him.
No, apparently belonged to Hugo
What do we
Aubergine.
do now?
We're going to keep a rendezvous with the gentleman who stole and sold those plans. The assignation will take place at Mr. Oberstein's house this evening at 9.
Do you see you talking about?
These newspaper clippings, I found them in the drawer of Hugo Oberstein's desk. Read them.
See, Hugo Aubergine.
First one says...
Hugo Oberstein. Sounds like a name called Mortimer.
It's Aubergine.
Piero, indeed. Sounds like a Mardi Gras.
Human vegetable.
Second goes, matter presses must withdraw for unless contract completed.
Huh?
Piero again.
And the last, dated Monday, the day the crime is committed.
Monday night after 9, 2 taps, payment in hard cash. I say, do you think it was a submarine that the plans that he was buying?
I'm almost positive. And Piero was Oberstein himself. But we'll find out for certain this evening. I've invited the gentleman who sold the papers to meet us.
How? I don't
I
understand.
inserted this advertisement in today's Daily Telegraph. Tonight,
So they're looking
same
for
hour,
a
same
puerile
place, details
aubergine.
vitally important. Your own safety at stake. Signed, Piero, as usual.
Just think, if this
we've
were
got him.
told in modern times,
There's no time to lose.
they'd be catching the criminal via
For a change,
Tinder.
I've been carrying it around all
Webs.
day.
What's in it?
Oh, just a jemmy, a dark lantern, a chisel, and a revolver.
Nice equipment for a respectable citizen to be carrying about the streets of London, I must
Yeah,
say.
you know, Watson, there are times when I suspect we aren't quite respectable.
And sometimes I think we're not
What the
citizens.
fuck was that?
I
Who wrote
have
this
no idea.
music? Get out!
Here we are. This is Caulfield Gardens.
It's so foggy. I shouldn't like to be caught in the act of housebreaking.
Yeah. Oh, this wall, Watson. There's a window we can easily pry open in the back.
Scale that wall.
Come on, hurry up, hurry up. There's no time to lose. Here. I'll give you a boost. Come on, up you. That's it.
Right.
Here I come.
Climb my penis.
You're as agile as a cat. It's uncanny.
This is the
Get
window.
your foot out of my roof, Watson.
1,
It's
2.
amazing you were able to boost it. I have a mutant gene.
Yes, now we have Super Watson
The
to
underground
contend with.
runs right past here, almost on the level of these windows. I can reach out and touch
Well,
it.
they did call me Hydraulic Holmes in prep school, you know.
Yeah, wait.
The train.
Yeah, well, Holmes used his
of his
nicotine to
windowsill.
boost Watson. Now Watson's Super Watson.
Blurred with the rest of the body. And here, look here. Look. This brown stain is blood.
Jokes never work when you have to explain it.
Let's get on to the house.
Very well, then. Come along.
From Batman
Windows
TAS,
open.
Mad Love
Easy,
here.
don't break the glass.
Supposing Uncle Steen should happen to return
Nope.
home.
Well, we must take our chances in this business.
I like Batman.
My visitor would expect to be let in the front door.
I wish these stairs didn't squeak so.
9 o'clock. We can expect him at any moment now. You take your position on one side of the door. I'll be on the other. So we can pounce on him when he enters. I'll throw my...
It'll be a lovely three-way.
I wish he'd hurry. Shh, Watson. What if he doesn't come?
There he is.
I'll pounce on somebody else.
I'll open the door.
Then I'll have to make up for his lack of come with my own.
No, you don't. Take that.
Up your ass!
Easy,
Bend over.
All right, Holmes, I've got him.
Mrs. Hudson, what are you doing here?
Take the overcoat away, Watson.
Right. Hi, it's Colonel Valentine Walker, St. James's brother.
Quite. Well, sir.
See, he got his lines there.
Why did you steal the Bruce Partington plans?
Who are you? What do you know about this?
I am Sherlock Holmes, and I know everything.
Oh, this is terrible.
Hi,
I'm
you're
lost.
omniscient.
I didn't realize their importance until my brother killed himself. But I need this.
I am an enchanter.
Give it to me if I let him see the plan.
So you took an impression of your brother's key, opened the safe, and procured the papers. Cadogan West saw you leaving the building, followed you here, and you killed him.
I am the Queen of Sheba.
No? Then perhaps you
There are
could have
those
done
who
the
call
Cadogan
me
West and placed him on the roof of
Tim.
the railway carriage.
I'll tell you. I promise you I will. I did the rest. I confess it, but not that.
Very well, then. How did it happen?
I got the papers, as you've discovered. Made my way through the fog until I reached the door. Once or twice, I fancied I was being followed. I could hear footsteps on the pavement behind me.
Well, yeah, it was a public fucking street you were on, you divvy.
A grail?
Colonel Walter?
Yes.
You have the papers?
Wait, wrong story.
Let me in, quick.
Yeah.
I think someone's been following me.
Yes, it's me. You can't do this, Valentine. It's treason.
All right, you hear?
No, you can't sell the papers.
Papa Overstein, he knows how to use a blackjack, eh?
You've killed him.
So?
It's murder. I'm going to get out of this.
Yeah, if
No.
you kill somebody, it's
I
generally
think
murder.
different.
Yeah?
Come in here if you do not
That's
wish to
what
taste the blackjack too.
Well, unless it's during time of war.
That is better.
Oh, what
And we're wearing the wrong uniform.
They'll find the body.
I have an idea.
Where will we
First,
find the
I look at
body?
those papers.
I have an idea.
I take the
Of
ones
course
I want
you
under
do.
arrest. We put in the pocket of this foolish young man. And then we give him a nice ride on top of the underground train, no? He will be
Yeah.
the guilty one. Who will ever know?
Yes, yes, as you can tell by my accent, I'm Welsh.
But if you do doubt your courage or your strength,
Unpleasant.
come no
What a pity
further.
that he got away with the papers, Dr. Watson.
Death awaits you all.
Overstein
With
address.
big, sharp,
That is
nasty
forwarding address with Colonel Walters. That gentleman.
That's the way. I like it.
Oh, God.
Saying that he had discovered that one essential detail in the plans was missing, and that he had procured a tracing which would make it complete for a price.
And did
Did
Overstein
he just mention
swallow
Dick
the bait?
Tracy? He did, didn't he?
Swallow it. He was arrested as he got off the boat at Folkestone. Some weeks later, I learned incidentally that Holmes had spent a day at Windsor Castle and returned with a remarkably fine emerald tie-pin. When I asked him where he got it, he answered it was just a small present from a certain gracious little old lady for whom he'd been able to do a small
Only Holmes
favor.
can get away from calling
And I
the
think
queen
I
a
can guess
little
the
old
lady's
lady.
august name.
Elementary, my dear Mr. Manning, elementary.
I see.
Stop
Ladies and
stealing my
gentlemen,
lines,
just
Watson.
a moment, Dr. Watson will be back to tell us about next
My
week's story.
life, dumbass.
In the meantime, let us repeat. Watch out for colds. At the first sign of a cold, take
Oh,
Grove's
fuck off and
bromoquinine.
die of influenza.
Bromoquinine tablets are made especially for the relief of colds.
Sick of
In
hearing
other
about your
words, they're
quinine
specialized
tablets.
medication, and that's what you want. First sneeze or sniffle,
It's quinine,
go
not
right to your
quinine.
druggist and get a package of Grove's bromoquinine tablets. Now, Dr. Watson, next week?
Next week, I think I'll tell you the story of the lion's mane.
The lion's mane. What was that, Dr. Watson?
Well, the answer to that question,
It
Mr. Manning,
was a lot.
is
That was
Sherlock
next
Holmes
week.
also. Suffice
Tune
to
in
say
next time.
They were the last words
The next
gasped
fucking
by a dying
story.
man as he lay writhing in agony.
Yeah, and the funny part is he says tune in for the lion's mane, and the next one on the list is actually the case of the retired color man.
Well, this is what I keep telling you. Watson is actually living a fantasy life in this retirement home he lives in.
All the times the stories are being told, he's got a pencil in his right hand and his dick in the left.
Right?
Yes, and he's trying to write with what's in his left hand.
Yes.
And he's wondering why he's getting no satisfaction from the one in his right.
And this is all just really an obvious side effect of not taking his Groves bromoquinine tablets at the first sign of a cold.
No, that's actually taking too many of them.
Oh, Lord.
No, that's how he got his wife pregnant.
Yeah, because they're not Pepperidge Farm quinine tablets.
That's right, and she doesn't remember.
Yes, it still works for
Groves bromoquinine tablets. Guarantees she won't remember a thing.
And that's the end of this broadcast day. If you wish to submit a request for an old-time radio show, it needs to be dated prior to February 15th, 1976. Everything before that date is public domain, and nobody can copyright before it. I've done my research. If you are a contributor or a supporter of this channel in any way, shape, form, or fashion, your request will be given priority. Now, does that mean you have to pay to get your request taken care of? No. Any and all requests are welcome. So, until next time, this has been your favorite mad mother of the internet, along with the Batman.
That's me, I think.
Yes, that's
Hello,
you.
is this thing on?
And Mitch the Ripper.
Don't forget your Ridgedale brand sleeping pills. Puts her out before she can shout.
Next week is same bat time and same bat channel, 11 a.m. CST, that's Central Standard Time, noon Eastern Standard Time on this main channel for another Saturday Old Time Radio. So, see you guys then.
She only uses that phrase to trigger me. I'm not going to allow it.
Wow.
Stop it!
Same bat time. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Batman wears a dress in his spare time.
And Mitch uses it when I'm not there.
Damn it.